Greetings and salutations, one and all. My name is Michael. I am the Dead Aussie Gamer and host to this contest known as Dragon Kitchen, a multiversal contest in which we take fantasy chefs from all across the multiverse and throw them into the infamous and prestigious Dragon Kitchen to prove once and for all who has the most fantastic, most creative, most imaginative culinary expertise. For those of you who do not know our guests today, they are, of course, at the epitome of chefdom in their retrospective universes, and I cannot wait to show you what they have to offer. But before we go into that, we would like to take a moment to thank the people that brought you, of course, this amazing conquest, and that is none other than Hero Forge, the wonderful 3D model-making art program that allows you to create your own multiversal hero. So if you haven't checked it out, go and have a look at this amazing and wonderful and incredibly immersive tool that you can use to not only make your own hero, but also have them printed and shipped to you at home. The Black Friday sale is currently on, so go. What are you waiting for? Bring your heroes to life today. Now, the other people we want to thank is, of course, you, the audience members. Without you, shows like this simply wouldn't exist. And as a thank you, we invite you to come behind the kitchen into the flames as we invite you to take part in playing this game as we do as well. Channel point redeems are, of course, in effect that you can grant to the players of your choice. Allow them certain advantages. Definite advantages, clear, unconcise advantages. And once you see the guests for today, you will know exactly who you would be rooting for in today's contest. There is also a number of monetary donations that you can use in order to keep me eating solid food. Simply type in !DK donate and then have a look at the rewards that we have on offer that you can influence the outcome of today's battle. For $10, you can award a heroic point to a player of your choice, which allows them an advantage roll, stave off a killing blow, or petition the GM for stuff that isn't necessarily in the rules. For $25, you will award a player of your choice the opportunity to sabotage their opponent, giving them a key element to gain momentum in this very tense fight. For $50, you can instigate a chaos event, a random series of mayhem that will be introduced into the kitchens of our competitors. And lastly, for 100 big old dollary dues, not only does it come with a massive thank you, but also it's looking at me, Ray. A magical beam will strike a player of your choice. 1d6 of these magic beams, and they can do so very much, ranging from turning them into a cloud of butterflies to suddenly teleporting them into a small beach where they need to then try and continue cooking whilst in Speedos. Whatever the case may be, these random events will, of course, be only the appetizer to a marvelous and creative adventure. Without any further ado, however, let us introduce you to our contestants for today, starting with none other than the one, the only, the infamous Julia, child-sized.
To be here to cook tonight with you all, and I hope we can all maybe learn something together.
Well, thank you so much, Julia, for coming and joining us in today's show. Now tell me, where did you first get your start cooking?
On my first trip to Faerun, I came here with my husband Paul, and he showed me all the nice fineries of the coast, and I learned to cook from the fine chefs there.
Wonderful, wonderful. And if you had to give any advice to up-and-coming chefs, what advice would you give them?
I'd say you could never use too much burgundy wine. Yes, more burgundy wine.
Wonderful. Absolutely amazing. Well, good luck in today's adventure, Julia, and I wish you all the best against your opponent.
Thank you so much, Michael.
Now, of course, We had to dig deep in order to find someone who can stand up to the sheer magnitude of Julia's raw and unbridled culinary talent. And for that, allow me to bring to you the incredible, the sensual, the beyond, the one and only, Nigel Chaosin!
Hello, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
It is absolutely our pleasure, and we are so glad to... Sorry, I find myself a little distracted. Yes, you are...
Something on your mind.
Well, yes, of course. In fact, what is on my mind is, Nigel, you have such a illustrious career. Tell us, where did you get your start? What brought you to the kitchen?
Believe it or not, I was not a chef at the start. I was actually a model. It's quite hard to believe now, but I got my start modeling, and then I went from there into bodybuilding. And as a bodybuilder, for those who don't know, you need to be eating a lot of protein, the strict regiment of diet. I found that the cooking side of things, cooking so much meat for myself to eat for my workout, I found that it was actually quite enjoyable. I started to delve deeper into the different side of cooking different meats and different foods that would maintain my physique the way I wanted it to be. And after doing so, I delved deeper into chefdom.
Amazing. And I know, not just because of your size, but because of your talent, so many people look up to you as new and up-and-coming chefs. Tell us, what insights in your journey of cooking would you give to the people who want to follow in your path and become chefs of your caliber?
I'd say just remember, it's not only about the ingredients you put into it, it's about the love you put into it. The love is the special ingredient always in your meals. People can taste it.
Amazing, and of course, a true delight and pleasure to have you. Now let us bring both of these incredible characters into our main stage. Welcome, Julia and Nigel.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Julia. Big fan of your work.
Oh, you're such a strapping young man. Really, truly.
Oh, stop.
Do you think you could bench press me?
One in each hand, Julia. One in each hand.
Yes.
Well, perhaps a different type of contest. Once we end up perhaps a show or an exhibition of strength. But for now, however, the two of you have, of course, never met before. And this is your first time on Dragon Kitchen, but there is a particular way that we like to do things here. We like to, of course, keep things a bit surprising. To play this game is easy for the two of you. Prepare 3 meals, an appetizer, a main, and a dessert, featuring, of course, the kitchen's selected special ingredient. But this is not a special ingredient that'll go down lightly. No. This special ingredient will require you to prepare, capture, and butcher whatever pieces you would like from the beast while it's still alive. Of course, these fantastic creatures are simulacra, not, of course, creatures with sentience. We would never do that. Right, Eugene? Yes? No, I'm sorry? Sorry, we had an incident before. Mermaid Sushi was an episode we had to pull. So, in any case, these simulacra cannot feel pain. They cannot express themselves, but they can, of course, still tear our competitors limb from limb. But fear not, for we have a wide variety of very capable staff to ensure that you will, of course, be revived, healed, and restored in the event of untimely incident. We encourage our... Oh, yes, go on.
Let's hope so. I have quite the body to keep up, and I don't want. I like it being in one piece.
Oh, yes. So do I. So
do I.
Today's secret ingredient is something that we have had to dive deep, deep, deep into the vaults in order to find.
Good.
And we hope you enjoy this challenging ingredient. Eugene, roll the clip.
I know it sounds quite strange, but on my expedition, I discovered these floating, aberrant creatures with a multitude of eyes were actually not unpalatable to even the most refined of tastes. Apparently, when these creatures eat organic matter, they have organs that transform their food into magic. The eyes are like jelly with multitudes of flavor, and, well, if you can avoid the necromantic bladder, its organs are delightful. The piece de resistance, however, lies in the large eye in the center. If you crack it open, it adds a certain bitter sweetness to any dish. If you do insist on eating the meat, however, I highly recommend you do something about the gaminess of it. The smell still stays with me some days. But be careful, lest you find yourself on its menu instead.
All right, so it seems our ingredient for the day is none other than the dreadful, the vicious, the hungry beholder. Chefs, how do you feel about your challenge?
Not a problem at all. And he swings up a huge meat tenderizer, one of those pointed mallets, onto his shoulder. Not a problem.
Oh, well, I'm most excited about showing people the fine cuts of the beholder. There's so many wonderful things you can do with the beholder.
Well, I certainly cannot wait to see them, and I'm sure our audience cannot wait either. So, guys, let's now take you to the Dragon Kitchen Arena. With a wave of his hands, you see fire begin to erupt from beneath you as it engulfs both Nigel and Julia. When this happens, you suddenly feel yourselves being pulled deep, deep down into what looks to be a small circular thoroughfare. As you slide, you notice around you all these ingredients, these various foods, these various bits and pieces start to slide past you as you fall through this portal to what looks to be a tower nestled in the middle of all of these teleporting pipelines that run through the astral area you now find yourself in. As this happens, you arrive before a large, ruined clock tower. Series of bridges in various state of decay and crumbling are all around you. And floating there before you are two large beholders. Their eyes shut, their eye stalks drooping as they are asleep, restful, until you appear before them. And we'll have you both roll initiative.
Yeah, boy. Right down the middle. I've got a 12.
I've got a 5.
All right, we have a 12, a 5, and our beholders will be going dead last. The sleep gets to them. They are unable to awaken or rouse at the presence of your arrival. Nigel, we start with you, followed by Julia, followed by the beholders.
Wonderful. All right. So what I'm going to do, let's see what's a bonus action I can do here. I'm going to, let's go with I reckon magic weapon is going to be the best one to do this with. Yeah. So I'm going to
to take out my spice pouch at the side of my hip, attached to the waistband of my apron, since that's pretty much all I'm wearing besides boots. I'm going to take out the spice pouch, and I'm going to turn it over and dust the end of my my maul, and I'm going to dust it with a man grind, and then I'm going to flick it around, and I'm going to cast magic weapon on it by doing so, and I'm going to charge into the beholder, and I'm going to take a lateral swing, trying to hit it right in the side of the jawbone.
All right. As you run a trail
Let's tenderize this meat!
As you run, the trail of spice follows you like a sweeping arc. You make your lateral strike, and what do we get?
We are going to get that's a 15 on the dice, plus a maul of +7, plus the magic weapon, so that's 23 to hit, I believe.
23 will land.
23 to hit.
23 will land a solid blow as your hammer hits the side of its jaw. Now, for those of you who are unaware, the jaw is actually quite a sensitive location, and when struck by a blunt force like this, it causes the whole body to shift. While it was, of course, floating in the air, the sudden strike to the shift tilts it off kilter. It is caught by surprise. Its eye sharps open, and it just begins to shake its head in near disbelief at the rude awakening.
That is a 11 points of damage to one side of the jaw, right into the masticator, and then spin around and whack, try and hit the other side as well. Garbage, but that is an 11 to hit.
An 11 will not hit. This time, as you swing back around and try to hit, the leathery hide now turns as it only reveals almost the back of this giant beholder, the hardest part of it, as you have failed to penetrate through its hide.
Damn, I failed to penetrate. This time, it looks off to he somehow found a camera immediately and just gives it a wink. He's somehow got this magic sixth sense for finding the camera to give himself a close-up.
Very nice. You watch as one of the camera ninjas suddenly starts to swoon. Please make a charisma check.
Hell yeah. That is a... would this be performance by any chance?
Sure, I'll go with performance.
That is a 28.
A 28. With a 28, you watch as the camera sort of wobbles a little bit as the camera ninja goes weak at the knees. You watch as the camera sort of pans away from Nigel for a moment. Nigel, while off camera, you have acquired from absolutely nowhere, no one knows where or how or why it happens, because weirdly enough, there was no camera. You have now acquired a dagger of, sorry, not a dagger, a hammer of tenderizing. It functions more or less as your mallet. The difference is that should you strike, you deal double the weapon dice on your attacks.
Hell yeah.
The camera then pans back to you as you now have your new mallet.
You have to have the right tools for the job. Always take care of your tool.
With that, the cheers from the audience can be heard as we then switch over and find ourselves next to none other than Julia.
Yeah, I would like to try to cast Hold Monster on this beholder.
All right.
Let me pull that spell up. Where did it go? I have too many spells. I'm sorry, Charm Monster, not Hold Monster. So that's going to be a Wisdom save 16.
All right.
And as she's doing this, she's pulling out her... I have a... a bottle of Boundless brandy.
Ooh.
And she's waving it around at him, going, "Don't you want a sip of the brandy, darling? It's delicious. I would love a little sip myself." And she's coming towards him, just kind of waving the brandy.
All right. As you begin to approach, sleepy eyes begin to awaken, blinking a few times before recognizing you. Roll me, if you can, please, a persuasion check. with advantage.
All right, that's a 14.
A 14. With a 14, the beholder awakens. It shakes its head, and it is now going to make a will save at disadvantage, because it turns out that this beholder is a lush and enjoys a good brandy, and you have made it sound very appealing. Oh my god, okay, never mind. Yeah, you rolled a 1, followed by a 2.
Oh no.
The beholder floats over to you. As it does so, the eyeballs move from staring at you to the liquor in your hand. You move it left and right, and you watch as almost like a Labrador. All the eye stalks seem to follow in suit, following this bottle of brandy.
Beautiful. She's gonna kind of do a little circle around the beholder. She's looking him over very, very closely. See, in my kitchen, we really like to use the freshest of ingredients, and this is about as fresh as you can get. And, but the meat is a bit gamey, so we'll just, and open up, darling, and she kind of shows him how to open his mouth, and she just starts pouring the brandy directly into his mouth. See, we'll just let it marinate just a little bit, and it'll get very, very tasty and very delicious when we get to our cooking.
All right, as you pour the liquid into its mouth, let's find out how much of a lush this guy is. Okay. Well, so as you pour the alcohol into its mouth, you all of a sudden hear this as it suddenly its purple skin becomes rosy and bright red. We now are introducing a mechanic that I introduced. It has nothing to do with One Piece, but it is now a mechanic that I have in my game, which is we decide what type of drunk this beholder happens to be. So I need you, Julia, to roll me a d12.
A D12.
Yep. He can be a happy
Table full
drunk.
of 12 types of drunks.
Yep, he can be a happy drunk, he can be an angry drunk, he can be an there's an oversharing drunk. Yeah, depressive drunk.
Oh
There's
my
Just a
god.
really clumsy drunk.
Oh yeah, and then there's the I've not had enough to drink drunk.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a
I'm not, like-
3.
A 3. Okay.
I swear I'm not drunk.
So a 3 is, according to my chart here. Okay, angry drunk.
I love that you have a drunk chart.
Okay, so this
Type of drunk.
okay, so this is a flirty drunk. So a little appropriate. So as it does so, it looks over at Julia, and immediately kind of just. And you watch as
just all 10 eye stalks try to like wink.
yeah, but at different times.
At different times.
You watch as the giant beholder, sort of one of the eye stalks, it tries to lean on one of the crumbling ruins. But then as it does so, because it's an eye stalk and not an arm, it jabs itself in the eye when it puts the stalk next to it, and you watch as it then just sort of. All right, in this confusion, that is going to be the entire action of that beholder.
That's
To
beautiful.
try and hit on you.
Yeah, basically. Meanwhile,
It's the only action he's getting. Hey.
the other beholder is super angry that this dude like came out of nowhere and smashed him with a hammer. So
With a hammer.
you watch as the beholder lines up its 3 eyes and prepares to blast. All right. Rob, could I get
Ready for
you
it.
to roll me a d10, please?
D10. 7.
All right, a 7. All right, with a 7, as this beam flies out and attempts to strike you, I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw.
Eat your cake. That is a... that's a 12.
With a 12, unfortunately, that is a failure. As you are struck by this beam, you are certain that this deadly ray is going to somehow twist, petrify you, put you to sleep, and disintegrate you. But instead, you suddenly find that you have this really strong smell of fish just everywhere. It smells like a fishmonger's. You smell offal. You smell the seawater. That old seaweed smell. You know when it's like washed up on the beach.
Yeah,
It's
really
just,
dry one.
it's just everywhere. You now have
What
the sickened condition.
Damn. All right. That's yeah. I can't do anything to react against that. I'm just sick. Oh, that's so terrible. Ugh.
All right, and with its other floating move action, it is going to step a little bit away, and as
Can I
it does
swing at
so,
it?
you can swing at it.
Right. Let's try and tenderize this meat before I throw up. That is going to be an 18 to hit.
With an 18 to hit, you collide your hammer, boom, straight into the center mass of the beholder.
All right. So, and this is double the dice because it's a meat tenderizing hammer or something.
Yes, so not double the strength, just the dice.
Just the
that
dice.
you use. Yeah.
Cool. So that is 10, and another 8 is 18 plus my magic thing. Let's see. It's 18 plus my maul of 3 is 21. 21 points of damage.
All right, with 21 points of damage, boom! The head sort of goes down and bends, facing the platform as it is struck from above. It is definitely getting its bell rung by the massive Goliath, which of course then brings us to your turn, Nigel.
I want to meat tenderize this a little more, but I also want to make sure that I've got the parts of it protected that I need for the various different meals that I'm going to make out of it. So I say, let's stretch. Time to stretch out the meat, otherwise it gets a little too gamey. So I'm going to wait for it to sort of open its mouth, and I'm going to try and hit it in the jaw to try and pull its jaw open, like break its jaw open essentially. So a big overhand attack with this meat tenderizer maul. And as a bonus action before, as I swing, I'm going to use. Let's see, what's this one do? Is this one the one that is the radiant damage? I shout to I whisper to the beholder as I swing my maul. I'm like, come on, work with me. You've got to find your light. You've just moved out of the light. And so I cast what's it called? Branding smite on the hammer, on the maul hammer. And I think like some of the lighting technicians around the place, the ninjas holding the lights, just like move the spotlight to try and keep up with me, so that I'm always in the light. Oof. I'm gonna bring it down, and if I hit, the guy starts to glow with light. Natural 20. Does that hit?
Hold on, let me check. Carry the 3, 4, 7. Yeah, that'll hit.
All right. So because I'm a paladin, I've got a maul, which is 2d6, and then it's a special tenderizing maul, so it's another 2d6, and then it's doubled, so that's a crit, so that's 8d6. And then because I am gonna pump in as high a level smite as I can, just to make this as epic as possible. That's 8d6 plus what levels of smite have I got? I've got a 4th level smite, so that's 5d8, which is 10d8 because of the crit. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with 8d6 and 10d8. Is that cool with you?
You watch as the announcer kind of sort of strokes his chin. Do we have any bigger ones? Do we have a bigger bow? No, that's what's happening.
Oh yeah, and then Skulai reminds me that I also cast Branding Smite, so I'm also adding on another 4d6 to that radiant damage. So let's start doing some maths. You can go to a 30-minute ad break. I'll be done with the maths by the end of it. 5, 10, 20. That's 30. That's 30 with the first lot.
All right.
40. That's 50. That's 50. That's 61. And another 7. 68. Yeah, so 68. And then I've got another 46. 68 and another 4. So that's 68. 70. 75. 79. 82. 82 plus 2 is 84. 84 points of damage, and the beholder becomes radiant. He becomes visible. He sheds dim light and cannot become invisible. Cool. So I
Stay in the light. Stay in the light. You've got to work with me on camera here.
All right. As this thunderous, raucous sound explodes outwards from the beholder, the platform begins to break and shatter. The cogs that are slowly moving around this area suddenly start to whir and grind. I need a dexterity saving throw from Nigel as you have blasted this this creature.
That's only a 13.
A 13. Well, unfortunately, as the gears twist and turn, Nigel, you are swept in one direction, and the beholder, oh no, is swept in the opposite direction, heading towards you. So you kind of can see that on this merry-go-round, there is a point of impact that'll happen likely in the next round.
Nice.
All right. However, swiftly returning, we find ourselves back on top of the bridge where the large beholder that has been charmed by Julia's wine and demeanor seems to be trying their best to put the moves on Julia.
I think as the beholder does like the thing with his eye stalk, she kind of reaches up and takes the eye stalk into her hand and draws it down. Oh, darling, we wouldn't want to hurt that. These eye stalks make a fabulous stock for any stew you may be cooking. So we want to keep these in perfect condition as of now. Yes, darling. How about we draw you a nice bath so you can get prepared for your evening? And she is going to use performance of creation, and she is going to make a large beholder-sized basin appear below him.
All right. As you do so, in a swift motion, definitely very swift and not taking me, my $2 that I spent on an art degree to make. A basin of water suddenly appears beneath the beholder. It lowers itself in, and it sort of cozies up into this bath.
She's gonna look down into the basin and shake her head. Oh no, this will not do. And she goes down and touches the water, and she's going to use minor alchemy and turn that water into buttermilk.
All right. As the water begins to churn, it starts to change color, going from a clear blue to a more yellow and white consistency, as eventually it transforms into buttermilk.
Oh, yes, you're going to be the most handsomest, most delicious boy in all of Faerun. And she's just kind of patting him on his eye stalk as he's soaking in his buttermilk bath now.
All right. Julia, please record that you have increased the quality of your beholder by 1 step. Nigel, you may also do the same for spicing your hammer and tenderizing the one that you've been battling.
Tenderizing.
All right. As as you watch the beholder start sort of wading in this puddle of buttermilk, is there anything else you'd like to do on your turn?
No, that's all my actions. She's just doting on him now in his buttermilk bath.
All right, let's roll a d12 and see if his drunk trip takes a turn.
Oh no. That is a 6.
6. The creature is affected by hideous laughter. Everything and anything is considered to be a joke to it, and it just starts a raucous round of laughter, and it is just rolling around in tears.
Yes, roll in that buttermilk, baby.
That's true. However, I'm going to use one of the beholder's legendary actions to have that roll again. So if you could, please roll a d12 again. I want to get this beholder to do something.
I feel like we're being very wholesome over here, and you're trying to ruin our wholesome time.
That's true. A little bit. Just a little bit.
That's an 8.
An 8. All right. With an 8, this beholder begins to take a turn as tears that come from laughter suddenly transform into tears of sorrow and sadness.
Oh, no.
As it starts to cry, it then begins to wail. As it does so, this shrieking bellow branches outwards. And could I please get a wisdom save from you, Julia?
Yes. That is a 23.
Ooh, very nice. All right. With a 23, as you hear this creature, it opens its mouth. It lets loose this horrifying wail. You kind of block your ears temporarily to kind of like try and block it out. And you are not stunned by the sudden roar.
Beautiful.
All right. Which brings us back to the other. As it swings in your direction, this beholder has had enough. This beholder, as it begins to make its way towards you, shakes off the sudden stunning from the massive blow you dealt and focuses its attention on you. You watch as it takes its laser-like eyes and will fire not 1, but 2 beams in your direction. Can I get you to roll 2d10?
I can handle 2 at once. There we go, 1 and a 2. There we go, we got a 3 and a 1.
All right. A 3 and a 1. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
As
Yes, please.
3 hits you, I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw, please.
Easy peasy. Ah, yeah, boy, 25.
All right. With a 25, you are struck by the first beam. As it does so, you close your eyes and find yourself covered in butter. From top to bottom, your body is now slick with what looks to be just this very dripping and moist butter
Oh no.
that runs over your body.
It's all over me. It's all underneath my apron and everything. Oh. who
It
could have
runs
seen
along
this
the
coming?
floor, down your
Oh, dear.
legs,
Oh no, it's all down me.
and you manage
so
to.
wet and slippery and oiled up.
You stay on your feet as you are not slipping
no,
over.
It's all over my arms and my biceps.
I did this to myself.
Yes, you did.
The second,
I've got so much butter all over me.
the second beam, as it hits you, can I get you to make me a Constitution saving throw, please?
Easy peasy. 15.
All right, with a 15, as you are blasted.
I'm not rolling disadvantage on that because of second or anything, am I?
No, not. Oh, actually, yes, you would actually.
Second disadvantage.
Yes, disadvantage.
Yeah, less than that. Then 12.
All right. As you are struck by this, you suddenly feel yourself going slower and moving in slow motion. The butter dripping slower. Your body moving. So you have
I'm just flicking my hair, but I don't have any hair.
Yeah.
It's just.
But you
like
see
gouts of butter.
Yeah. You you basically have the slow condition for one round.
That works for me.
All right. That was the beholder's turn. Nigel, we come to you.
The important thing to remember is when the meat is tenderized, you move on to the next step.
Drops the hammer and snatches up a meat cleaver. And he spins it over his head and he says,
You have to pre-sear the meat.
And I cast Searing Smite on my meat cleaver as it starts to heat up. And then I try to reach out and grab one of the eye stalks. Because of slow, I'll only have one attack this round instead of two, so I'm just going to make it work. Here we go. I am going to... I'm going to make sure... Actually, I think I'll roll first. I think I can... Yeah, that's probably gonna... Does a 14 hit?
A 14 will not hit.
All right, I'm going to use my Cursed Luck Stone then, which means I can give myself advantage on one thing. But because it's cursed, the next two rolls after this are at disadvantage. So I slip around. I give myself advantage. What does it look like? I think it's a is it something on the apron, or it's the bow tie just kind of like shimmers and gets a little more sexy. And that's much better. 22 to hit them.
All right.
22 hits.
That will hit.
So that is going to be a d6 from the slashing damage, which is that's just going to be 8 points of slashing damage, and then it also takes 4 points of fire damage and sets on fire, and he needs to use an action to put out the flames. So I grab the eye stalk and I just hack it right at the bottom of the eye stalk to try and like sear from there. Start to sear the flames. And as I hit, the momentum just like flicks some butter spray off of my axe as well.
All right. You hear the sound of the butter now sizzling as it pops, it crackles, as the meat is now being seared by butter and flame. You can go ahead and add another +1 to the quality of your dish.
Hell yeah.
All right.
I think that's all I can do, because I think when I'm slow, I don't get bonus action. My bonus action was Searing Smite. So yeah, just one attack and a bonus. I think that's good.
All right. Done and done. We then return to Julia, who is currently before a beholder in a bath.
He's still sobbing. Julia just looks totally concerned by this. She's upset with her beholder now. Oh, Perhaps the bath is a bit cold. Maybe we should warm it up for him a bit and make him a little bit more comfortable in his bath of buttermilk, which will help improve the quality of the flavor of our lovely beholder here. And she's gonna lean down and touch the edge of the basin and cast heat metal as she does so.
Nice. As you do so, the buttermilk begins to bubble and churn. The bubbles get higher and higher, and as it does so, it begins to boil. I'm going to give you an option here. I will allow you to make a wisdom-based culinary check in order to maintain the temperature so that you are slowly increasing the temperature so that it doesn't suddenly freak out for suddenly being in boiling buttermilk.
I would love to do that. So just a wisdom roll.
You're trying to boiling frog it.
Yeah, or boiling lobster or whichever thing it is.
All right.
That's right. We learn proper kitchen techniques when it comes to Dragon Kitchen. These are entirely realistic things. Remember, if you have your beholder in a buttermilk bath, it's important to raise the temperature slowly, bit by bit at a time, so as not to startle the beholder.
That is a 13.
13. All right. With a 13, unfortunately, you kind of misjudge it ever so slightly. And this will snap it away from the charm, but not away from the drunk. So, as you do so, it is now boiling. You can increase the ingredient quality by another 1, please, Julia. As the beholder starts to get too hot, it starts to float upwards instead of shake. And do you have anything else on your turn?
No, I think that's all.
Could you roll me a d12, please?
Yes. We want a happy drunk. It's a 6.
A 6. So once again, the creature bows over and begins to laugh and chortle and the like. And how many legendary actions do I have? I can't keep laughing. I gotta make this thing do something. Yada yada yada. Okay. 3. Okay, so yep, I'm gonna.
If you want to ruin one of Michael's encounters, everybody, just get the monster drunk.
Well, you know what? So
we figured it out.
So FYI, there are 5 hostile encounter bits for the drunk table. So there should be a more than
like
50.
Angry drunk.
Yeah, angry drunk, bloodthirsty drunk, bad drunk, or overly friendly drunk. Even the overly friendly drunk is bad, right?
Yeah.
But evidently, so I'm going to use my legendary action to once again have the beholder not only laugh but also get the reroll on the drunk table to see if it does break and do something different.
A 9.
A 9. A 9
Oh, you're
is
way too excited about that.
9 is, of course, an angry drunk. The angry drunk lashes out randomly around them. As it does so, it is going to fire. It is going to fire 3 of its beams in random directions, and it is going to hit who it hits. The beam is also able to potentially hit the other beholder, as well as Nigel on the floor behind. So, Julia, can I get you to roll me a d8, please? 3 times.
Yep.
And tell me the result. As the beholder swings its eye stalks.
That is a 1, an 8, and a 5.
A 1? Okay, that is going to head in your direction. And the 8 and the 5 are going to go in random other directions. All right, the eye stalk, one of the eye stalks happens to aim in your direction and fire. Roll a d10 for me.
Yes. A 6.
A 6. All right. With a 6, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. We have a series of culinary tools suddenly manifest in the air around Julia. Julia, these tools, these spatulas, these knives, these mallets, these saucepans start to swirl around you quite rapidly, each of which trying to basically assault you from all angles. I need a a strength saving throw or a strength culinary skill in order to try and evade and bring to bear these kitchen nightmares.
Okay.
Which is the name of the IRA.
Can I take a potion as a reaction?
I'll allow it.
Okay. She's seeing all this happen, and she very quickly pulls out a potion of hill giant strength off her belt and
Yep.
just downs it. Let's see. So that is going to.
As you start to, because you are doing this as part of a reaction, I'm also going to have the beholder sit there and like go because you are absolutely freaking like, because again he's a lush, right? So you are showing him how it's done.
Okay, I don't know how to use things. I'm horrible when it comes to what is this? D&D Beyond. I hardly ever use it. So that would be strength. Puts me at a 21, so it's a +5 to my strength. So I just roll my strength saving throw and I'll edit it to whatever.
Yep, let's do it.
So that'd be 16.
All right, with a 16, that is just enough to pass. As these things begin to fly towards you, you quickly snatch up, grab, and pull at all of these objects, sticking them on your back, on your belt, wherever you can, and bringing them all under your control. Your next culinary check is at advantage.
Beautiful. Thank you.
All right. But that then brings us to the top of the round. And back to whatever is happening over here. As we return to Nigel.
Yes. The big his beholder first, though, right?
Oh yes, that's right. He should have a turn, shouldn't he? With the beholder, the beholder begins to look at you and stares deeply into your eyes with all of its eyes. There's a moment where it realizes that that you are strong. You are sexy. You've confused his feelings, and the slow motion strokes of your rippling muscles immediately cause the beholder to sweat. As it does so, you watch as it is going to attempt something, and I feel like I'm going to go with a consent warning here. Nigel, are you?
Nigel's down. Anything for ratings.
Good.
Nigel understands the sex sells. He's down for whatever.
Wonderful. All right. Well, the beholder is going to let its intrusive thoughts come out.
Yes, please.
And looking at this delicious, tasty, butter-covered Goliath, much like a icy pole on a hot summer's day, he opens his mouth and this large tongue comes out. And welcome in, playmat. Good to see you rating.
It rates it just as I'm like sexy dancing and the beholder's about to lick me.
Yep. There is no context for this. This is gonna work.
This is gonna work out perfectly for what I plan to do on my turn as well.
All right. So as the beholder again just starts to sweat up a storm and eventually succumb to his intrusive thoughts, this long ebony black tongue licks up your body. I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Hell yeah, 25.
With a 25.
I'm still sick, right?
Yeah, at disadvantage.
Yeah, 22.
All right, that's not gonna make a difference. As it licks you, you lean into it, which means that your next charisma-based skill will be at advantage, as you have now confused
yeah.
many members of the audience about what is going on here. The beholder.
They'll find out in a second.
The beholder's tongue, however, is quite raspy and almost like that of a cat with these large kind of hooked appendages kind of things attached to it. You will, however, suffer... not much. That is 7 plus... Alright, you will suffer... No, just 7 damage. That's it. Yeah.
I'll use my Goliath Stone Endurance to tank that. I rolled a d12 and it's got 7, so I get to take no damage.
Nice. So as he goes to lick you, it feels you getting harder on its tongue, and you you soak the damage. I'm so sorry, children. So anyway, it's Rob's turn.
It's my turn. I turn to the camera as it licks the butter off me, and I say, sometimes it's good to lure your opponent into giving you exactly what you want. And I wrap my hand around the base of its tongue and grab its tongue so it keeps its mouth open, just like you mentioned before, like licking an icy pole. Only I, just like an icy pole, have stuck its tongue to me. I'm gonna grab my oh, by the way, he's still on fire.
Yeah, he's still on fire.
But he didn't. He's still searing.
Yeah, he's still.
I don't know how much he's meant to take from that. A d6, let's say.
Yep.
He takes another 6 points of fire. And then I've dropped the searing cleaver because that served its purpose. I pick up my hammer again. I cast as my action elemental weapon. And what I do is I take the hammer, and there's like a chamber in the handle of it that I take it out and I pour into it like an entire bottle of vinegar. Look, and I choose acid damage for the type of elemental weapon. And I say, the thing about gamey meat is that it has to be soaked in a vinegar bath. This is an actual fact that I looked up. As soon as it said something about the gaminess of the meat, I was like, how do you deal with gamey meat? What does that mean? And Google tells me you have to soak it in vinegar. So I'm gonna cast elemental acid weapon, and I'm gonna shove the hammer as far down its throat as I can, just absolutely ram it down the throat, and try and release the acid of the vinegar down the back of its throat. All right, here we go. That is a 16 to hit.
That will, unfortunately, miss.
No.
As the hammer, as you hold its tongue and you jam the hammer down its mouth, unfortunately, its large teeth get in the way and stop you from thrusting deep into its mouth.
Too much teeth.
Yeah, pretty much.
Too much teeth. Gotta get them teeth out the way.
You gotta get those teeth out the way.
I'm no longer slowed.
No, you are no longer slowed. Excellent.
So I get my second attack. I pull the hammer back and just in and out, trying to just get that into the throat. It's just sometimes you've got to really work it to get it in there, and that is a 21.
Well, your persistence definitely pays off.
Yes, it does. So with a 21 to hit, that's going to be 11. Another 6 is 17, plus 2 is 19, plus 3 is 22. 22 points of damage, and for flavor it's all acid, but it's actually bludgeoning, and then another 4 on acid.
All right, very well. As it does so,
empty the acid down its throat, trying to soften up the masticator muscles, and particularly the esophagus of this thing. Not that it really has a stomach, so I'm not sure what it's swallowing section.
It doesn't have an esophagus. It actually has several organs, one for every eye, that allows it to digest and process anything it digests and turn it directly into magical energy. So as it does so, there's this spray that comes out of its mouth of this sour liquid that vinegarizes this whole area. Nigel, your sickened also is removed by this particular move, as the odor of the sea and the fish is just it just leaves at this point. Also, by the way, Julia, as you get ready for your turn and the like, after you've picked up all of these various belongings, you watch as there is a dwarven individual wearing the usual like backstage ninja crew outfit. As they do so, they... Are you Julia?
It's me?
This is for you. He reaches into his pocket and hands you a small ticket stub. And all it reads is, "My name is Jeff." You've been given a heroic point from the Scottish Jeff. He gives you a thumbs up. All right, lass. You right? Smells good, by the way. All right. Oh, no, wait. So, smells good by the way. That's the way it is. And he... boop, 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 boop. And he puddles off. All right, you have a hero point. Hero points can be used for advantage, to stave off a blow, or petition me for stuff that just straight up isn't in the rules.
Beautiful. Thanks, Jeff.
All
right.
Julia.
Oh, no.
All right.
What is the current state of my beholder? Is he still an angry drunk?
He is still currently an angry drunk. And he's kind of getting buck wild. Like he's like kind of like it's almost like, have you ever been to those like rodeos where you've got like the bull in like the little thing and they're like bucking back and forth and stuff? That's basically what you know what? Hold on. There you go. That's what he's doing. Just back and forth.
Okay, so she's going to look at him with a little bit of tisk, you know, we can't have this. And I am going to cast a hold monster on this guy this time. We need you to stay still in the bath. I know that you maybe had a bit too much of the cooking sherry, but we do need you to stay still, darling. That will be... It's a wisdom saving throw, 16.
All right. Nope, that's cocked. Let's try that again. Okay, I'm going to put this in dice jail. By the way, FYI, this is my Dave from Careful Cantrip dice. Anyway. So, yeah, I got a 2, which added to my wisdom. I don't know if that'll make it. Let me just... does a 9 make it? Julia, does a 9?
Not quite.
No? Okay. Well,
she's gonna kind of slowly ease him down back into the tub. And she looks down on the tub, and it was buttermilk to kind of soften and remove some of that gaminess. But as it's heating up, she notices that the milk is curdling, and this just will not do. So she's going to reach down and touch the buttermilk, and she will use her minor alchemy again and turn that also into brandy. So now he is in a bath of brandy, and begin to slowly cook him inside of there.
How sciencey do I want to be? You know what? Let's do it, just for the fun of it.
Okay.
As you suddenly turn the boiling liquid into a different type of boiling liquid, specifically an alcoholic boiling liquid in a hot tub, the alcohol immediately vaporizes very, very suddenly, which is good for the meal, but bad for the people in close proximity. So,
breathe in deep, Julia.
As you take a moment, all of a sudden these vapors, boom, explode outwards. Julia, can I get you to make me a Constitution saving throw, please?
All right. This is going to be entertaining. I would like to use a hero point For an advantage.
By all means.
Oh boy. I'm glad I did
Oh,
that.
boy.
That's a 12 at least.
Well, unfortunately,
The
Julia...
other one was a 1.
That's fair. Unfortunately, Julia, the vapors do indeed get to you, and you will be also rolling on my table of drunk moods. Now, this doesn't work like concentration. It's more like a confusion kind of aura. Outside of the
Okay.
actions that actively stop you, like, for example, hideous laughter and stuff, it's a free roam fun thing more than it is a restriction or penalty. But as this happens, however, you do notice something that will trigger this. So roll a d12 for me, please.
Okay.
And if you can, please get a 2.
I got a 12.
A 12.
She did technically get a 2.
That is technically
I did
correct.
get
Another
1 too.
number in.
There's a
All right.
2 in there.
With a 12, however, you have become a bloodthirsty drunk. Yep, you are out for blood. You're obsessed with the idea of just messing up someone's day for no reason. You just kind of decided that right now I choose violence. But this will be on your next turn.
Beautiful.
And here's how this is going to be directed. As Julia sees over the edge, there is a very familiar-looking dwarven ninja making their way over to Nigel with this small ticket stub. Yo, lad! This one's for you as well. And,
Put my hammer thrust down its throat. What? Right now? Are
Yeah,
we on
yeah.
the-
no, you gotta take this. And he hands you a little stub. Scottish Jeff has given a heroic point to none other than Nigel.
My fans adore me. Mwah, I kiss the little note and just throw it out to the audience. Thank you, Scottish Jeff.
You watch as Jeff kind of blushes, and Julia, this enrages you. It's like, I thought he liked me. I thought, what was that about? Huh? And there's just the bloodlust kind of goes into you, and you no longer look at the beholder. You no longer look at Nigel. You're just watching Jeff. And you see where he goes. He's actually not too far away from you. He's about 20 foot that way. Now, we also have 2 anonymous donations, which thank you kindly for those anonymous donations, but we do need to know who you are so that we can know who you give those hero points to. Or if you want to, send a message to Rob, I don't know, and Discord, not in Discord, in freaking Twitch, and then, I don't know, he'll tell me, or he'll lie to me, I don't know. Either or. All right. So, without any further ado, that was Julia's turn. Which brings us to the beholders. Now, your beholder is currently held underwater, being drowned in alcohol. So, all right, we have another hero point for Rob from Meleville. Okay. So, at this point, from inside the beholder's mouth, as you hold the hammer, you feel a tug coming from your hammer, Nigel. Something's pulling at your hammer from inside the mouth.
Interesting.
What would you like to do in response?
Something is tugging at the hammer. I feel like pulling against it to try and pull out whatever it is.
All right, as you do so, you pull, you struggle, you pull, and as you do, you pull out what appears to be another one of the staged ninjas. This one...
He's just dripping wet.
Dripping in vinegar.
I'm so sorry.
It says, "Hi, my name is Mel," written on their shirt. Oh my god! Oh my god! I thought I was gonna die.
Why were you in that's such a tight space? How did you even get in there?
I don't know, man. I don't know. The boss just said to. And at this point, you see the announcer looking down at him. Eugene, how many times do I have to tell you?
You know what you did, Eugene?
You know what you did, Eugene, right? I don't need you to sass me. I don't know why I became South African, but anyway.
All right. All right,
this
is is my show, Mel. So thank you for the love, but you're milking it.
Oh, but wait! I've got a thing for you.
You're milking it. Just throw them out, and the little note just flutters. Catch it.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, thank you, hero.
All right, you'd have another hero point, and as this happens, Julia, you hear footsteps coming from you. I imagine you've got something to like kind of like almost like what would you use as like a stress ball in this situation? What would you? Well, how would you?
I feel like I'm about to use Jeff as a stress ball.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, well, it's funny you mention that because another ninja comes up behind you and sort of taps you on the shoulder. Hello.
Yes.
Oh,
Just kind of like wide-eyed and.
Hi. I love your cookbook. I have 3 copies. I was wondering if I could get you to sign it for me.
She takes the cookbook and just like bites a chunk out of it and hands it back to him.
Oh my God. Thank you. That was the it was the hardcover. Wow.
Have you seen Jeff? Have you seen Jeff? That little bastard.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yes, I have. He's over there.
Well, goodbye.
She says, "Oh, okay." As he does so, he sheepishly gives you one of the little tokens, and you get a hero point from Friend of the Fiend.
Thank you, Fiend.
All right, that is our beholders, and that is our hero points. No, actually, no. One of the beholders is drowning. That's what we're doing. So, blah, 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 blah. He is trying to break free, and no, I'm going to use a different dice. No offense, Dave, but goddamn your dice. I choose to blame them because I'm superstitious. I'm going to use these dice, my dispel dice. Okay, here we go. Et 2 dispel dice. I thought the more money I spent on dice, the better they roll, but that's a lie. So, apparently, this is the first time I've ever had to deal with a beholder drowning in buttermilk. Drowning in brandy. So, now it is drowning in brandy. Hooray! Huzzah!
He's gonna be tasty.
Very well. He's gonna be very tasty. Meanwhile, down on the other platform, the other beholder looks towards their quarry, their mouth filled with this foul-tasting vinegar. You watch as they then prepare. The large eye opens. As it begins to charge up and fire. As it does, the beholder's mouth opens. You watch as all of the tendrils start to shake and rattle in this fierce display of aggression, each eye glowing a different color. As it does so, the eye begins to coalesce energy right into its center mass. It begins to create this ring of arcane fire, and as it prepares, all of a sudden, wait! You see a halfling. You watch as, on your apron, this halfling that's crawled up from the platform below sort of pulls your apron aside, takes one of the notes out of out of their mouth and puts it like a stripper in their thong kind of thing.
Look, you have to be careful with that. I've been told by the producers many a time that due to terms of service being on before the watershed, I have to keep this apron on at all times. Who knows what kind of beast could be unleashed? You watch as, steam comes out of their eye Thank you for the note. I'll take a little note from the producers. Thank you. Who's this one from?
This one, however, is a mythical note from a person named Turian.
A mythical Turian, you say?
Yes,
Mwah!
yes.
And I throw it to the audience. They love me. They love me.
All right.
And then it explodes. Explodes its high beam at me.
Yeah, then it explodes its high beam at you. All right. Make a roll a d10.
A d10. All right. D10 is here.
That's a 9.
All right, perfect. I now need you to roll another dice, which I will tell you in a
Which one?
moment. A percentage, if you'd be so kind. Por favor.
Okay. 58.
58. All right. As this beam blasts down in the direction of you, you are sprayed in an inky blackness that coats your entire body. It is like squid ink, almost. As this does so, you are blinded for 1 round.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Then with 2 more eye beams, I need 2 more checks, if you'd be so kind. 2d10.
One is an 8.
An 8. And the other?
A 4.
A 4. All right, with the 8, you need to make me an athletics check as you suddenly feel pressure slamming at you from both sides.
I got good athletics. That is a 15.
With a 15, as these 2 things, these almost like pillowy cushions, strike you from either side, you try to force them back, but they push against you even more. To everyone else, you see 2 slices of white bread. As this happens, the other one is the slow motion blast. As you are hit by this beam, I need a Constitution saving throw, please. You are no longer sickened, so
save. Yeah, that's good. 24.
With a 24, you stave off the slow motion as now this floating hunk sandwich now hovers in the air before the beholder, who licks their lips.
Seems that someone wants me covered in some sort of lubrication. Make me go down easier.
I respond to that in no way, shape, or form. Nigel, you're up.
Even though I'm blinded, don't need to be able to see him to cast this. I say, makes me want to go down easier. And to that I say, beholder, I hardly know her. And I turn around and I shout, command, eye roll. And I give this horrible pun, so try and make this...
No, he doesn't need to make the save. He automatically fails.
And I'm going to use a hero point to increase the need for eye roll, essentially. What I want is for his eye stalks to all start like whirlwinding around, spinning them around. Try and make him dizzy, essentially.
I will take
in
that.
preparation for something on my menu.
All right, I will take that. As it does so, the eye roll begins, and as it spins backwards, the eye stalks continue to spin, and eventually you create a sense of vertigo for the creature,
Nice.
who immediately just turns around and goes... Its mouth is filled with vinegar, and now you've disoriented it.
Now it's dizzy. Excellent. Everything's coming up Millhouse. That is my action. Have I got anything I want to do as a bonus? Let me just double check. Inspiring smite. What does that do? If you deal damage, you can inspire somebody. Peerless athlete. Oh yeah, let's do this one. Peerless athlete. Channel divinity. As a bonus action, you can gain following benefits for the next 10 minutes. Advantage on athletics and acrobatics checks to get out of this sandwich. I can double the amount that I can lift in that, and the distance of my high jumps and stuff increase. So I'm going to channel my divinity. What does this look like? I feel like I've got something I can... I feel like it's here's what I do. I take off I take off the apron from around the neck, and all the producers are like, "Oh God, go to camera 3. He's gonna do." But then I do that sexy thing of like folding it down and just wearing it as like a across the middle apron. So he folds it down and just reveals his topless body, and that is him channeling his divinity and increasing his athleticisms. So he's still got his apron covering his naughty parts, but he's covered in black ink. He's like, "Oh no, this will never do," and takes the apron half off.
All right,
That's my
very
turn.
nice. Done and done. As we then go across back to Julia, who is seething, seething in rage. Your pot of stewing beholder is bubbling quite nicely.
Beautiful. And am I still seeing red for Jeff right now?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
let's say yes.
Can I see what direction he's gone?
Yes. Jeff is, according to the map, and the fact that I can do this quick enough. Boom. There we go. Here is where Jeff is. There he is. Look at him. Isn't he handsome?
Oh, he's beautiful. Let's see. She's going to stomp her tiny little halfling body over towards Jeff. She has just an absolute rage and madness in her eyes. And I think she's gonna cast Dragon's Breath. She just opens her mouth to yell at him, and instead this just horrible like belch comes out of her from all of this alcoholic air she has just been forced to swallow. And as she does, it just lights on fire in Jeff's face.
All right, I love this. You are no longer drunk. However, I am treating this not as a dragon's breath, but as a fireball.
Oh no, okay.
Because you have highly alcoholic breath, which has a high proof. Because as we said, we vaporized the alcohol and you inhaled the ethanol, and now you're exhaling the ethanol with fire. So there is a earth-shattering kaboom as you unleash a huge torrent of fire in the direction of Jeff.
R.I.P. Jeff. Just hear the loudest, longest belch, and then it's just punctuated with a explosion.
All right, that area of the arena is now on fire, and you watch as the announcer sort of goes, "Oh, poor Eugene, I'm going to miss you."
Mind Beholder's on fire. That arena's on fire.
Yeah.
The producers are like, oh, for God's again.
Yeah, just all the time with these people. There's a reason why we had to like put our other arena under repair. All right. After annihilating poor Jeff, who as you approach was actually kind of like, oh, you there, lass. It's good to see you. I hope you're using the hero point to.
Oh no. I feel like Julia is just like destroyed by Jeff's charred body in front of her.
As you do,
after coming to from being absolutely like hammered drunk.
Yeah, as you do so, you hear one of the producers yelling out, "Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, Jeff was a simulacrum. That's right. He was certainly not a real person with a family. He was made expressly for Dragon Kitchen, and he is not real. Yep." As Julia, you are no longer drunk, but yes, that will unfortunately take up your turn to blitz.
Yep.
This poor dude. Meanwhile, back we have the topless Goliath sandwich floating in the air.
It's the Beholder's turn, though, right? Again.
Oh yeah, I guess it is. I keep forgetting that the beholders get turns, right?
Just keeps going between me and Julia.
Well, I feel as though like I don't know what they do. At this point, it's like okay, this beholder is going to straight up.
By the way, my Beholder's still on fire, and I haven't rolled in the last few rounds, so let's give him another 6 points of fire damage.
Brilliant, I love it. Bring it on. All right.
He's searing that meat.
He is searing that meat. All right, the beholder, who can't put himself out because he doesn't have arms to do so, is going to instead... just these little eyes. Ow, my eyes! Ah, it burns! The eyes... with his own eyes! My eyes do nothing!
Your eyes not like fingers. You can't put the fire out with... I suppose not.
He's going to eat the sandwich.
Fair enough, go for it.
All right. Oh. It's gonna just make a grapple check as it opens its mouth.
On his teeth.
All right. Can I get you to make me an opposed athletics check, please?
Sure can, and I have advantage on it because of my channeled divinity and my
Oh, I love that.
soaked up body. All right, that is a dirty 20. Dirty, nasty,
The
filthy
dirtiest of 20s. Well, that is unfortunately a natural 20.
20. Ooh,
As
we like them natural.
As you boom disappear into the closing jaws, they begin to masticate with you in its mouth. Rum, rum, rum.
Yeah. Okay.
Look,
Too easy. I'll let it go.
thank you. All right. Unfortunately, it rolled almost minimum damage, and you took 7 damage for being chewed up.
I'm gonna use Stone's Endurance again and reduce it by 8.
Ah!
I get harder in its mouth. It tries to masticate me in its mouth, and I get hard.
Yep,
And
didn't
just doesn't
work.
happen.
That doesn't happen. All right. Nigel, it's your turn.
Alrighty. Jesus, I'm running out of things to do for my menu. My menu is pretty much ready. Is he looking almost dead? Like, how are we going?
Oh, absolutely. This is the final round.
All right, let's make it last then. What do I need for this to be? I've got him tenderized. I've got him seared. I should probably do something with his eye stalks again. Let's go with. I need to engorge his eye stalks. That's what I need to do. So I'm going to. How do I do that? Let's look at some of my paladin spells here. I could. How do I? Feel like I need a spell that like create food and water. Create food and water. Can I create water in a 30 gallons of water? All right. I'm gonna try and aim for the water that is in. I used to know what it's called. Aqueous humor. That's what it's called. Aqueous humor is the liquid inside of an eyeball, and I'm gonna create water in there to try and like engorge the eye stalks and make them thick and turgid with water. That's my attack.
I'm gonna eat a hero
That's my
point
final
from you.
preparation. Yeah, I'll take a hero point. I still got 2.
There's, I mean, you know what's really funny is as a game master, you always get asked the question, "Can I cast, create water in someone's lungs?" And the answer is always unequivocally no. And I know that Rob says no because I've tried it on his tables and I've gotten the no. But
that's why we have may I approach the bench coin.
Yeah, we do have that. And that's why we have hero points. But the fact that you had the audacity to ask me about putting it in its freaking ice, like its tear ducts, and inflate the eyes. Sure, let's do it. It's gonna make a
do as I say, not as I do.
It's true. It's gonna make a Constitution saving throw.
We got a DC 18.
Nope. Just straight up nope. I need new dice. And they're not helping me. All right.
So what is it that makes water? There's something about salts, isn't there? Osmosis brings the salt into. So that's it. I bring out the Huatandi spice pouch again, and I just throw salt up into its eye stalks, and then the salt in its eye means that the body draws water to that area, and I draw water away from his body.
All right.
Into the eye stalks.
The water pulls into the eyes. They start to swell. They become almost like, originally they were the size of tennis balls, but now they're the size of almost like rock melons. Like they just...
Yeah, boy.
As they do so, they become heavy, and the stalks suddenly become less able to be laden by these eyes as the creature is vertigoed, nauseous, and its eyes are swelling. It then just sort of...
It's almost time to feast on this beast.
As it says this, the sandwich, the mixture of ink, the vinegar, it vomits out into the arena as it then falls down onto the platform. Julia.
Nice.
Yes.
Your pot has bubbled nicely. There is a rich and almost like a lamb, like kind of almost like this, not lamb, what's it called? Like venison, that's the word. And like this almost like venison with red wine and like kind of like that buttermilk sort of scent that's going around. It is absolutely resplendent.
Okay, now that she's came to when she's sober again, she realizes that she doesn't want to cook something very important on that beholder, and she just kind of turns around like, oh, and totally forgets about poor crispy Jeff at her feet, and she's going to run towards the tub, and she pulls out her paring knife as she does so from her cooking utensils at her belt, and she's going to lean over the tub, and she's going to try to pry free that main central eye, as she wants that fully intact. Oh, we can't overcook this. This is one of the most important ingredients to one of my last dishes, and it cannot be cooked. And she's just in there just going at it while he is held paralyzed, basically.
Yep. All right. Can I get a culinary check with advantage using your dexterity for your stat as you try to very expertly carve out the eye?
Can do. Oh geez. That's a 10. I rolled like crap on that one.
Is that with advantage?
Yeah. The first roll was a 1.
All right. Unfortunately, as you try to carve out the eye, you don't quite get it in one piece. It hasn't been overcooked, but it like normally you could use the eye as like a display piece or a like kind of something pretty to showcase. Unfortunately, the eye has a little bit of a like kind of gash in it, so it's a little bit imperfect, but otherwise intact as you pull the eye free of the stew. And it is with here that we hear the sounds of a bell suddenly letting everyone know that the round of combat, the battle contest, now concludes. As we return once again, a sweeping flame drags you back into the main auditorium of the Dragon Kitchen. As we rejoined by our lovely competitors. What a battle round, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed every moment of it. I know that you both exceeded my expectations, and we have 2 very high-quality preps now ready and waiting for our next round. Before we jump ahead, though, to our break, let's ask both of our competitors how you felt the round went. Let's start with Nigel.
It was every bit as easy as I thought. I managed to make it through without taking a scratch. I think anyway. Let's double check. See if you can see any scratches on my beautiful body anywhere. I know that it's covered in oil and ink, but I think I managed to make it through without a scratch. I feel like I got everything I needed done from the preparation stage. Now on to the cooking.
Wonderful. And Julia?
You believe I got some very lovely flavors started in the beholder, but if I could maybe have Jeff's family's address, I would love to send them a Christmas card or a letter of my condolences. I really feel quite horrible about poor Jeff, but sometimes you just have a bit too much brandy in the kitchen. It's just the way she goes, the way the cookie crumbles.
The announcer starts to laugh. Well, with that, we are going to take a short break as of course, we are going to be behind the scenes preparing all of the ingredients that our heroes have managed to acquire. But stick around. There are 2 more rounds in store and more opportunities for you to cause a little more havoc. Stay tuned, and we will be back very soon. Welcome, one and all, back to Dragon Kitchen. We are now into round 2, the cooking challenge, where our competitors will face off against each other to use what they have learned and what they have put together in the battle round to make 3 courses: an appetizer, a main, and a dessert. Welcome back to Julia Childsize and Nigel Chaosin. Now, this round is a series of skill challenges that'll test your culinary abilities. But, of course, we have a number of things that will occur in order to complicate matters as we go on. Each of you will be given an opportunity to attempt to describe your cooking process for each of your courses. 1 check per course, between which we are going to provide the opportunity for a chaotic event to take hold of your kitchen and potentially hinder your progress. In addition, our chat has a number of abilities that they can use over the course of the game in order to make things challenging, including, of course, allowing for sabotages to occur, providing a player of your choice the opportunity to hinder their opponent. But that's enough from me. Let's now throw to the kitchen, as I'm going to get both of our competitors to roll initiative to see who is going to take the lead in this cooking challenge.
That's a 5 from me.
15 from me.
All right. Well, Nigel, the ball is in your court as you prepare your appetizer. What do you do?
Alrighty. Well, would you like to know what my appetizer is, or would you like me to keep that a secret reveal?
Oh, secret reveal, always.
All right, secret reveal, wonderful. Well then, what I do for the preparation for my appetizer, it is mostly involving the eye stalks themselves. So, having been made turgid and engorged by the water being flown into them, the slightly salty end to this the eyeballs. I will take a knife and I'm going to cut one of them loose from my beholder and lay it on a platter and start to chop it like a hardened cucumber or a carrot, some sort of phallic vegetable, and I'm going to slice it longwards into long pieces. That's what I'm doing.
All right. As you begin to slice and prepare your vegetables, I'm going to say that you have a very performative nature about you, and these delicate and very, very intricate...
Flicking the knives and things, and I do a little bit of knife juggling.
Oh, yeah. We're going to go... We are definitely going to go with a charisma-based culinary check, if you'd be so kind.
Indeed. All right, so I took the chef feat, and I'm proficient in cook's utensils. And I'm expertise in performance. So what am I rolling? What am I adding?
You're adding your proficiency to your charisma, and let's give you a +2 bonus. Why not? Let's do it. You've got all this stuff.
So I got a +12 onto this. Thankfully, I've got a +12 because that was a 4. So 16 total.
16 in total. Okay. With a 16, you are a whiz with the blades, and as you do so, somebody does catch your eye in the audience. As you shoot them a glance, you watch as they fall backwards onto a person nearby who's like sort of eating chips and the like. They drop their bag of chips and they're like, "Oh man!" There's like a little tiny fight that's breaking out over this as you continue to cook.
All right.
Congratulations on the success of your check.
Hey, did it.
Julia, your appetizer. How are you preparing?
Yes. Well, the first thing that Julia does in the kitchen is she cannot cook without her famous counterpart, and she is going to cast Unseen Servant and welcome into the kitchen Jacques Unseen, my very good friend who will be here cooking with me, and she does one of these, and of course you can't see anything that she's pointing at. It just looks like nothing next to her.
As you say that and gesture in that direction, you definitely don't see anything, but everyone else sees what looks to be one of the backstage ninjas, who is just there, and he's got Eugene written on him. And he's just had like a texture of like a French mustache painted on his face. He looks very unimpressed, and he sort of waves, but no one acknowledges him.
Beautiful. The first thing that she's going to do is now that my beholder has had a nice simmering poach in the brandy, we are going to crack him open. And she's going to, where the eye was plucked free, she's going to take a large butcher knife and start hacking away because she is trying to get to the brain of this beholder.
Oh, damn.
And to pull his brain out.
All right. Cracking through the skull of a beholder is quite the challenging feat of strength, and that is precisely what I'm going to require from you as you make a culinary check with your strength. However, you do get advantage as you feel something aiding you, some unseen hand. It's actually just Eugene just kind of pulling at the same time, but you feel his presence nearby.
That's a 21.
Almost like the like for those of you who have ever visited Southeast Asia, if you know what a durian is, right? It is that sort of ripping, tearing, breaking that happens over the top as these almost like sweet smells of the brandy that's mixed in with the meat erupt from the opening that has now been made. Well done. You have successfully completed your check. In addition, however, all of a sudden, you watch as the kitchen refrigerator, a small little box that is nearby, swings open, and out pops what looks to be a tiny creature, a mephit made of ice. As it does so, it as it starts to make its way, leaving water footprints as it makes its way over to Julia. Hey, how's it going, boss?
She just kind of looks down to him. Hello, tiny creature.
Yeah, just call me Dave. Listen, so I got an idea.
Yes, and you are Cordon Bleu certified, I am sure, Dave?
Is that because I've got blue skin? Is that you making fun of me? I was like, hey, listen. Just
I'm listening.
I came out here because I got something for you, okay? And he reaches into his wingspan and pulls out what looks to be a small orb. This orb is a magical potion bottle of freezing, able to cause a wide area, or a particular dish, to flash freeze in an instant. Julia, you have been granted a chance to sabotage. Now, you don't need to use the orb, but you now have a sabotage moment in order to somehow impede Nigel and his vegetable performance, if you would like to.
Do I have to use that immediately?
No, you can hang on to it at any point in time. However, what does have to happen immediately is the chaos event. As all of a sudden you see, with what looks to be a like a crutch and like a cast on their leg, is Mel, the Eugene that was thrown from the platform when Nigel came out. Melville, if you are in chat, hi, welcome in. Please roll exclamation D20 in chat, please, for us, as you have triggered a kitchen chaos event. The kitchen chaos events are brilliant fun because random stuff is about to take hold. A 15. All right. With a 15. Here we go. All right. We have Turn Up the Heat, which is perfect because it's summer where I am. All right. As this happens, all of a sudden, each of the different tiles around you begin to increase in temperature. You feel a little hot under the collar. Whew.
If only I had more clothes I could take off. Look over to the producer who's like...
as the as the tiles begin to heat up, you watch as the Mephit turns around and starts to sweat even more.
His ice method.
He turns around and he says, "Oh no! Oh no! Oh, I gotta make it back to the fridge!" And he's
poor Dave.
and Dave turns and he starts to run.
He has to run on the spot because he's sliding on his own puddle.
As he does so, you watch as his leg starts to disappear. Then,
You can do it, Dave.
Then
You got this.
You can do it,
he starts to his other leg disappears and he's like trying to get across. And
She looks to Nigel. Put
I run
some
across-
clothing on. Maybe he'll cool down.
I run across and I grab a broom and I'm in front of him doing this.
just floating across. All right,
You got this, Dave. You got this.
as he makes his way, he pulls himself onto the fridge, the little ice flow that's like at the bottom of the freezer. As he does so, he breathes heavily. He reaches up and he goes to try and grab Nigel's hand.
I'll take it. I'll take his
All
hand.
right. Now, as he grabs your hand, he only has one arm, part of his pectoral, and his head left. As he says, "Nigel, I can't feel my legs."
Don't worry. They were much. They were not much more than icicles anyway. We can rebuild you some new legs.
Okay.
We'll create a lollipop mold. We'll give you better legs than before.
Okay. It's getting dark. I'm so cold.
That's good. It means it's working.
I want you to know that I always liked your calendars.
Oh, stop. And I throw him into the freezer.
All right. Okay, cool. He's in the freezer. Okay. So, as for the rest of what actually happens, as far as your heat goes, you all now have problems regulating temperature in the kitchen. In addition, if you remain in the same station, so right now, Nigel, you are in the prep station with the vegetables, and Julia, you are at the meat station with the beholder brain. If you remain in that station, you will take 4d6 fire damage.
Hey, I should shift it up.
All right. But that is not all, because that was, of course, our donated cooking contest, which, of course, comes with a very, very fond and very, very, very big thank you. So thank you so much for that. As we will then see what our next Kitchen Chaos event, and I'm going to give this one to none other than Darling Creepshow. Darling Creepshow, please roll me a d20, please.
All right.
By the way, also, you can see that as Dave was struggling to get into the fridge, the fire method that lives in the oven was just kind of watching from like a little slit, and then just...
That's a 14.
A 14! Okay.
Those guys got beef.
They do have beef. They've got a thing. All right. Food fight! All right. You can, in order to do a food fight, both of you, starting with, who won initiative? Nigel. Starting with Nigel. You get to pick one ingredient from your kitchen. It can be anything, and you can throw it into the opponent's kitchen. They must include that ingredient, and it has to be an ingredient. Oh. They must include that ingredient in their next dish. Julia, you then get to reciprocate with an ingredient of your own.
All right. I'll take something that I was trying to work out how to put it into my dish and couldn't work it out. So I was like, maybe it's just going to be waste, which is the beholder teeth. And I'll yank out some teeth and I'll just throw them across at Julia. Well, I won't throw them at Julia. I'm not trying to hurt her. I'm like, Julia, see if you can do anything with this. Ha
All right, Julia, can I get you to make a dexterity saving throw, please?
Yes, of course.
As several large beholder fangs are thrown in your direction.
It's a 13.
All right. With a 13, you manage to dodge most of them. They basically embed onto the side of the kitchen wall as tick, 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 tick. You now have 5 very, very sharp, very poignant beholder teeth.
Beautiful.
Julia, what would you like to return to your opponent's kitchen?
Man, she is going to take a couple of the eyes out of the eye stalks themselves and kind of gather them together in a bowl and well, I've no use for these. Maybe you have a use for these, Nigel. If not, perhaps you could paste them on yourselves to bring the temperature down, and she's gonna set them over on your side.
All
I like
right.
the idea of her food fight is like, here, just take these. It's very Julia Child. To not like throw them at me or anything, just have this.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Could I get Julia? How many eyes are you giving to Nigel?
Beholder has 10 eyes, so he's getting 9 eyes. 9 to the
9
total. I have the big
eyes.
one, but he gets all the little tiny
Yeah,
ones
the
off the
little
stalks. Yep.
All right. Well, you need to include all 9 eyes in
Yeah,
your main
okay.
dish.
Got this.
All right. So just roll me 1d8, and that'll be the eye that isn't applied.
That's Julia, right?
Julia, yes.
Oh. No, sorry. Yes. Mm-mm-mm. 4.
Sorry. Chat just says she tosses Jeff's crispy body over to Nigel.
Oh, no. Jeff.
So dark. I mean, yeah. What was the number,
so
sorry?
I need to.
4.
4. I think.
4. Okay, so 4. That was the slow motion eye. So here are the eyes that you have. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. So the first one is a soft, snowy sherbet eye. It tastes almost like sour apple.
Okay, soft
This-
sherbet eye.
The second is a digestive eye, almost like, you know how pineapple has that kind of biting kind of taste to it?
Yeah.
Yep,
Digestive
so-
enzymes eye.
Yep. So it's got that one. The third one is almost like a mint kind of flavor, a very, very strong kind of that cool mint kind of taste.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is a sour taste, akin to like oranges, very citrusy.
Mm-hmm.
The next eye is actually a bad one. This one is a metallic eye. It is not poisonous, but it has that kind of like the taste of like that iron, copper kind of, that thing that kind of hurts your teeth a little bit. You then have something that has a very herbal taste and actually is very thin compared to the others, which have a kind of strong viscosity. This one is almost like a tea, so very, very liquidy core.
Herbal tea eye. Okay,
Uh,
I can do that.
In contrast, the next eye is very gritty. It has a taste very akin to almost like it's almost like a wheat. So it's like almost like powdered yeast or rye or you know kind of that bitter kind of grain kind of flavor. You then have the necrotic eye. This one is simply death. It is poison.
Great. Thanks for giving me that one to include in my necrotic poison.
And
I can do it.
thankfully, however, the last one that is given is one that has THC in it. It's basically just pure THC, uncut, unbridled. Yep. And if you don't know what that is, that's fine as well. No, I meant
okay.
okay.
I believe in you, Nigel.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Julia.
Doing wonderful.
Oh, shit. It's great. Don't you love surprise ingredients?
All right, Julia, let's start in your kitchen this time.
All right. We're still on the first dish that we're working on, yes?
We are now moving on to our mains.
Okay. All right. She is gonna take the remainder of those eye stalks now that they are eyeless, and she will gather the teeth given by Nigel, and she is putting them. She's moving over to the oven, the stovetop, and she's gonna put them all in a giant pot and start boiling them for a stock.
Very nice. As you make your way over, you avoid getting caught on fire from the flaming heat of the tiles, and you begin to work the stove. You hear from below the stove. So how hot do you want it? Do you want it like tepid? Do you want it like hot, high, low, medium? I mean, come on. It's not boiling water here.
Oh, just give it a good boil. It's a stock, just going to be there for a while. So you just kick it up a little bit, and it'll be fine.
You know, I had a paladin. He used to ask me to make him holy water. You know how I did it?
Do tell.
I boiled the hell out of it.
Boil the hell out of it!
And you watch as as he's laughing, the fire begins to boil the pot that you have. As you are boiling these, you are softening the cartilage. Inside the teeth themselves is actually... So what it's doing is you're stripping the enamel from it, and you're pulling out what looks to be almost like thin layers of... There's a word for it. It's not calcium. It's like what happens when you boil bone. It's not the marrow. It's something else. It's
What are you doing?
It's like a white. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of like marrow. It's like the white fat layers that you get from bones from boiling it. It's like the soup stock, basically. Yeah. Yep. That's what you're kind of creating. And I need you to make me a wisdom. Wisdom
right.
culinary check. Collagen, thank you. Bloody legends in chat. Yes, collagen, thank you. It is filled with collagen.
Well, I rolled a 6.
A 6. Unfortunately, you've not worked with this before, so the collagen is there, but you haven't been able to capitalize on it, and it is burnt a little teeny bit. You do have a hero point if you want to re-roll it, though.
I'll use that. We'll re-roll that.
All right, let's do it.
A 9. What did you do? Your dice curse has moved to me.
It has. It really has. All right. Unfortunately, yes, this is a failed check on that one, which I need to just mark down. All right. Meanwhile, in the opposing kitchen, Nigel, you have a big pile of eyes.
I'm smashing out all of these eyes, by the way. I'm putting them in all of my dishes. I didn't think to do a drink until you gave me those eyes, and I was like, oh, actually, I can make a drink out of some of these. I've only got 2 of them still to work out how to put into my dishes. Okay. What was the question? What am I doing? Oh, the next thing, right? I got to move on from my prep. I've done my vegetable chopping of the turgid eye stalks.
So this is from your appetizer now to the prep for your main.
Now I have to move away from this station, otherwise I'll take fire damage. I am heading over to the meat station. I'm going to tenderize some meat for the main.
All right.
I have chopped out the masticator meat, the muscles of the jaw that I tenderized with a few very solid hits at the very start.
Very nice.
And you can I'm pulverizing them. I'm just like leaning over and there's sweat dripping from my face, and it's like when I don't know if you've seen like Insta reels of the Thirst Trap cooks where it's like somebody like kneading dough and like slapping the dough and stuff. It's all meant to look very sexual. He's very much doing that, but with like tenderizing this meat, and he's looking directly into the camera and making eye contact as he just makes this meat. He just pulverizes his meat.
All right. You lean over and you begin to start pounding your meat.
Yep.
As you do so, we're gonna go with a charisma-based culinary check.
All right.
I feel like the athletics were like, I think athletics is fine. I think we're gonna lean into charisma.
Charisma-based athletics, yeah.
Yeah, charisma-based athletics.
So I will give this a man, such good things and then terrible rolls. As is the way. 16.
All right, with a 16.
Hopefully I got a really high modifier.
All right, with a 16, as you begin to, you kind of like get into the rhythm, and you kind of lose yourself. But as you do so, and you lose yourself, you kind of realize that that as you're pounding the meat, you've done it a little too long, and you're supposed to be cooking this, and so the cheeks are super tender, but you're a little bit behind on your cooking prep.
I got too much into it. It's too long. That is what they tell me. It's too long.
A little. All right. Julia, you have you still have your sabotage opportunity if you would like to use it.
Yeah, I look over to Nigel and I don't even mean to use it. Truly, I'm holding it and and I just kind of like my hand shake and I just toss it accidentally into his kitchen as I'm watching him pound his meat.
All right. It flies across and lands in the kitchen. Julia, can I get you to roll me a percentage, please?
Yes, I can. That is a 57.
A 57. All right. You may pick a cooking station where it lands. You can choose the meat station, the food station, the oven, the stove, the fridge.
You're at the prep station now, Nigel.
I am. I went to
Is
the
that the
meat
meat
station.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the meat station. Okay,
My vegetable appetizer is prepped at the prep station.
I think it just goes flying right towards Nigel and the meat station. I am mildly enthralled by his pounding.
All right. As you do so,
I've never seen such athleticism.
I feel like it's that scene from the Hercules where Hades gets fresh frozen and he's like, oh, go on the horse.
Exactly that.
And then just.
All right. As you kind of reached into your little sachet next to you, pulled out a handkerchief to wipe the sweat from your brow. That's how this thing is sort of flown from your hand and landed in the station. As it hits the ground, there's this sudden 20-foot of frozen everything, which means that when we come to the end of the round's chaos event, Nigel is frozen. All right, chaos event. Nigel, seeing as you're frozen, why didn't you roll us a d20?
I can't roll a d20 frozen. I got an 18.
An 18. Big numbers for today. All right.
Yeah.
18. Well, this is going to be really good for Julia because the clock is ticking. You watch as
oh god, no.
you watch as all of a sudden the clock starts to go faster, and as it does so, it increases the speed of our competitors. Unfortunately, Nigel, you're frozen, giving Julia 2 actions. You may use this action because this next round is the dessert. You may use this action to touch up any of the stuff in the previous rounds or the previous preps, or you can double down and really focus in on the dessert. But Julia, as you're the only one who is currently hasted by this effect, it is up to you. What would you like to do?
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna. I'm pretty happy with what I've got going on so far. The collagen is, an afterthought at this point, and I'm gonna double down on my dessert. I want my dessert to be beautiful.
All right. What are you prepping for your dessert?
You see her pull out the large eye that she had pried out during the battle round, and she is going to move back over to the prep station, and she's going to crack it like a giant egg to get that lovely, clear, thick egg white viscosity out of the center of that guy.
Ooh, very nice. All right, I love that. As you crack it into this large mixing bowl, I'm going to say that with the haste, as you mix it, this is an automatic success, and you have created... well, what are you doing with it?
She is beating them until they are soft and fluffy with big, nice peaks.
Very nice. Are you
Turn into Nigel for a minute.
Yep.
Yeah.
As you do so, you watch as these massive, beautiful, soft, fluffy peaks, which kind of like a reminiscence of like kind of that souffle whip that you kind of make. You kind of like, you know, every now and then just make sure that, you know, everything is kind of smooth and consistent, and you've done a beautiful job. At this point, Nigel, your body starts to thaw.
No. I know how it thaws,
Okay.
because it's so cold in here that my nipples go, and it shatters the ice that's encompassing me, and then cracks from there. Sometimes you just got to cool off. It's cold in here. I have one action now, so I am going to. Do I have to move on to my dessert now? Yeah.
You do have to move on to your dessert. Yes.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
okay,
there's implied like extra work that's gone into your main, so it's not like all you've done is punch your mate, but yeah, there's other stuff.
All you've done is punched your mate. I move over to the to the I don't know which station it would be, but I'm gonna take the eyeballs, not the ones that I was gifted, but my own, all of the ones from the edge and the very ends of the stalks that I didn't cut up. And I'm going to slit open each of the eyeballs and get out the vitreous humor, the ones that were the vitreous humor that was that I specifically asked the guy to eye roll, and so as it comes out, it's already sort of pre mixed a little bit. Put it all into all 10 of them go into a bowl, and then I get an egg whisk, and I just start to beat as hard as I can. And I say, so you really need to get in there hard and beat it until it's white and creamy, and the tip to this section is to get it so that the peaks stand erect, and basically I'm doing this a very similar thing to Julia for my dessert. I'm creaming this eye goop.
Very well.
Not, an expression I thought I'd say again.
No, but here we are. I'm glad you invited me on that journey you went on, and I'm proud to be here. So anyway,
glad you asked me to step up last minute.
I did. I'm so glad.
And then you approved this character.
I did. I sat there and went. I said, what could go wrong? And then he described me the character, and I made the mini from Hero Forge. By the way, Hero Forge, wonderful stuff. I made the mini in Hero Forge, and yeah, of course, you know, I was like, yeah, what could go wrong? All right, so
it is genuinely hot in here.
It is so hot. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as we come to the end of the dessert round, we have one more D20 roll, and this time we're going to give it to chat. Chat, exclamation D20, as we come to the last of our chaos events. Also, by the by, this is also the last opportunity for any donations to come through. For supporting. Any other donations from this point on are just because, you know, you love me and my lovely players. All right, we have a couple people in.
8. We got a 5, an 18, and a 5 again, and a 9, and a 12.
Very nice, very nice.
Another D20 to ask between them to decide which one.
That's pretty much what I do. All right, here we go. Number 1, we go to Winter's Tales. Also, good to see you. Nice to see you. Hope you're well. Hope you're keeping cooler than I am. Number 5, it's a mimic. Something on your station is randomly a mimic. You each get to decide what is a mimic on the opponent's side of the table, and they have to, well, deal with that. So, as Nigel, you were frozen out of the last round. Nigel, what on Julia's side is a mimic?
So you had something in the oven, didn't you?
She had a boiling pot.
I don't think I did. Did I?
The boiling
I have it on top
boiling
of the
pot
oven.
on the oven.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So I think the pot handle starts to sort of droop as if it's sort of melting, and then it becomes a slathering tongue as the mouth of the pot itself sort of starts to grow teeth around the edges, and you realize that the pot is a mimic and it's about to try and swallow in whatever's in the pot.
All right, very nice. Julia, I need a dexterity saving throw from you to try and grab the pot safely off the stove, or alternatively, you could simply allow the mimic to bite you.
I'm gonna gonna do a dexterity save with this.
All right. Let's do it. As the mimic.
That's a 7.
The mimic bites you.
Nice.
Thwack!
Beautiful. Beautiful.
All right. As it does so, you take 4 points of damage. It's not much. However, one of your hands now has a strong adhesive attached to it. And you have to complete the final round with this strong adhesive. Julia, what in Nigel's kitchen is a mimic? I should probably also put in the thing that you can't say that Nigel is a mimic. Just,
Right.
But it can literally be anything else.
Nigel's bow tie becomes a mimic.
Hell yeah.
All right. Nigel, your bow starts to it starts to just flap in your face.
Not again.
Now here's the question: Are you going to leave the mimic wrapped around your neck, or are you going to try and free yourself from it?
Do you ever
Nigel
choke while you're doing all that beating?
Oh yeah, he's gonna. Nigel's no stranger to choking. So he's behind on time. He got frozen and he lost out of time. He still needs to make his drink as well, his accompanying drink.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not got the time to stop and deal with the mimic. He's just gonna let it choke him out. He's got his safe word. He knows the producers know what his safe word is. Just beating strong and then sometimes they get a little tighter.
Okay, as it begins to tighten, it's not so much it choking you that's the problem, but anytime you attempt to make a taste test of your food for this round, the mimic, bloop.
He's gonna little mimic tongue comes up and eats it.
Yeah, basically. So you're unable to taste your food for this round. All right. The last is your finishes, your last little bits of prep, your last little bits of the bells and whistles, the little things here and there. So, what would you like to do in terms of your plating or your finishing for your dishes? We will start with Nigel for this round.
All right. I have, let's see, I've got those two things to do. So I'm going to take 2 of the eyeballs that I was granted by Julia, and I'm going to get out a lemon squeezer, and I'm going to seductively kind of push one of them down and just squeeze out the juices from it, and then I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to squeeze it like you squeeze a lemon over some fish and chips, kind of in the style of the Salt Bay though, but like with a lemon half. And he's just going to let the lemon drip down, and if it accidentally drips down his wrist and down and dribbles down his elbow, then so be it. But that's definitely not what he's anticipating doing.
Oh yeah,
on purpose.
No, absolutely.
He's doing some of that, and then preparing his drink essentially.
All right, we're gonna give you another charisma-based culinary check, but this one is at disadvantage as you are unable to taste it.
Hell yeah. All right. So disadvantage. This plus 10. Oh, good. 13 and a 14. So 13 plus 10, 23.
A 23. All right. With a 23, you are fairly confident in your skills, but you have one important question to ask yourself, and that is, what do you do with the poisoned eye?
I have thought of that. So what I have done is used it as a garnish. Sometimes things come on a plate that you're not actually meant to eat, that you could eat, but wouldn't necessarily be a part of the dish. So what I've done is I've used it in my main dish, and I will describe what it looks like when we go to the presentation.
Very well. Okay. And with that, we then head to Julia.
Yes, she is back at the oven. She has some finishing touches she would like to do with her main dish. She has taken out her favorite cooking brandy, and she will be deglazing a pot with it to finish off a stew that she's working on. So of course she takes a taste of her brandy first, and then she is going to drop it in the pot and hit it with the dragon's breath to give a little flair and fire in the kitchen.
Very
Nothing
nice.
could go wrong here, I'm sure.
Oh, well, yeah, no, absolutely nothing. What could possibly go wrong other than, as you attempt to pour the brandy, you take a sip of the brandy, but in doing so, your hand is now stuck to the bottle.
Oh, that's a shame, isn't it?
As you hold it, you pour it into the mix, and you reach to try and steer and try and stir and do everything with one hand. Thankfully, however, the bottle does not go to waste, as the mimic starts to slide the bottle down, and then you watch as it sort of starts to disappear as it makes its way into the mass of the mimic. And as it does so, you realize your hand is somewhat free until you hear this. Whee!
Oh no.
I need you to roll me a d12 for your drunk mimic.
It's gonna be a floating mimic again.
Amazingly on brand.
Brandy.
That's a 10.
A 10? Oh, that's quite nice. Okay, so with a 10, this is the oversharing mimic. It wants to be close to you. It wants to be near you. It doesn't ever want to let you go. So you watch as this mimic sort of starts purring and cooing, and it turns around and it's almost like, and it sort of starts reaching up with its like tiny little pseudopod and just like trying to touch you. Just.
Oh, I've never quite gotten so friendly with my cooking before. Do you think maybe you could spare a few drops of brandy for me, though? Because I feel like I'm going to need it soon.
Uh-huh. And you watch as it sort of creates a mouth, almost like a baby bird.
Oh, this is not what I expected, but any vehicle into my mouth will do.
Roll a percentage check. This is just for the lulz.
Okay.
Just because you embraced it, I'm gonna reward this.
I hope Julia
61.
Child doesn't see this and sue.
Julia Child, if you do want to sue, come at me. I have no money. Let's not lie. You can have my shirt.
No worries,
no.
she died in 2004, so I don't think she's coming for us,
her
guys.
estate, maybe. Oh no! I'm being somebody's baby bird and brandy into my mouth. Oh.
I'm coming for you, Dag. Yeah. Anyway, what'd you get for your percentage?
61.
61. With the 61, something magic has just happened. Because mimics are an amorphous, property-changing polymorph, as you drink the brandy, you realize that somehow or another it has aged the brandy inside of its interior structure. Almost akin to a decanter. It has specifically removed a ton of the impurities that one would see from, cheap or kind of like bottom shelf brandy, and now you have a high quality liqueur. All you would need to do to access it is to convince the mimic that you're somehow or another its best friend.
While we're on the topic of oversharing ourselves, darling, would you mind perhaps putting a little bit of that in my stew? You would just be a great dear friend to me, and I would love to keep you around for this.
As your compliment sort of causes it to be flustered, it regurgitates more of this high quality brandy, and you get to mix it in.
Love that.
And with that, the preps and the finishes are now done. Let us now return to the main stage with our amazing chefs. Julia, Nigel, well done. This has been a gripping battle, a fierce, and definitely
been truly gripping, Julia. You are a worthy competitor.
You're a rather distracting competitor, being shirtless, but it was quite nice nonetheless to cook alongside you.
All right, now as we tally up some of the rules, I'm going to give each of you a chance to petition the audience to tease what you may have in store for them for their appetizer, their main, and their dessert. Or if you would like, you can use this time to throw some barbs at your opponent. Let's start with Julia.
Oh, wait, what am I doing? I'm sorry.
You're sassing your opponent, or you're enticing the crowd. You're giving me time to calculate the scoring.
Oh, okay, all right, sorry. Nigel, do you always cook without a shirt on? Is this some new form of culinary skill?
I find that clothing can be restrictive to my talents, and so I feel the heat from the oven, or the cool from the chilled ingredients I'm using if my skin is bare and able to take it.
Do you find that perhaps the bow tie could be a bit restricting to the blood flow to your brain, though?
I mean, perhaps, but a little restricting of the oxygen to one's brain can intensify the feelings and the sensations that one tastes in the kitchen.
You waken something quite carnal in me, Nigel.
I find that is most of my fan mail says something quite similar.
Poor Paul is going to watch this at home and think me a devil. I'm sorry, Paul.
Perhaps it is just for the best, because my entire menu is similarly themed, shall we say. For the audience at home, you get to look out for the wonders of your expectations. The appetite that I will be presenting to you, I have named the Shafts of Desire. For the main course, you will be presented with to your ultimate enjoyment, Sloppy Joanne, and finally we will be taking it to the final resting place for your taste buds of the evening at I Cream Pie.
I feel like you're missing a nice classic tossed salad in there, Nigel.
Unfortunately, I had no time for a tossed salad, but
there's always time for tossed salad.
Perhaps next time, Julia, perhaps you come round and show me a tossed salad.
I'm quite good at it, so I've been told.
Just imagining Julia Childs.
No! Just like that gets demonetized. All right, so anyway, well, it seems as though our competitors have spiced up this chat, and of course, I have with me the current scores as they stand. Right now, Nigel, out of a score of 4 for the preparation round in the battle that you fought, you have received 4 out of 4 for your results. For our cooking round, out of a score of 6, you have received 3.
Oh.
Having lost a little bit of legging to the being frozen in time and the sabotage that occurred there, it has definitely hindered you a little bit, but it's not over yet. Julia, you walk away from the cooking round with 5 points out of 6.
Ooh.
Meaning that Julia currently has a margin of 2 in the lead, but with 10 points up for grabs in the next round. It is anyone's game.
4 for the prep stage?
Yes. And Julia, you did also receive a full 4 points for the prep stage as well.
Fantastic.
All right. The next phase is, of course, the judging, where you, the audience, will get to decide which of these chefs will walk away with the Dragon Kitchen Best for the People Award. Now, for this, we are going to be judging based on the plating of the meal, how delicious the meal is presented, how creative they have been with the dish, and of course, you guys get to decide the judge's favorite. So without any further ado, let us begin with Nigel.
Excellent. As Nigel is stepping up to do the presentation, then he pulls up from his from the waistband of his apron a small vial, the other common item that I took at the beginning.
Sorry, one
perfume.
second.
Fix me!
I'm fixing.
Me, damn it.
I'm fixing.
That's a little cheeky butt as this guy spins around. You can almost see a little bit of cheeky butt behind his. There we go.
Boom. All right. Sorry, carry on. You were reaching for your apron.
Reaching into the waistband of the apron brings out a small vial. This is the other common item that I took at the beginning, which is perfume of bewitching. He just takes it up and spritz onto the wrists, rubs them together, back of the neck. It's enough for one use. You can use an action to apply the perfume to yourself, and it lasts for an hour. You have advantage on all charisma checks directed at any humanoids. So people subjected to the perfume's effect are not aware they've been influenced by magic. So Nigel gets even more charismatic and charming as he goes into the presentation stage. How does this run? Would you like me to describe my my dishes now?
Yes, please. All right. So let's go with. You approach the large bench before the wide audience, the judging panel. As you do so, in your hand is your first dish, the appetizer.
All right. In my hand, the appetizer, Shafts of Desire. What you see is essentially a crudité platter of the cucumbers and carrot sticks, but made from the turgid shafts of the eye stalks of this beast. You can see that on the side is something that I got up from my something that I got the base from my alchemy jug from earlier, a peanut butter sort of a base, whipped and turned into a hummus, and into that I have mixed the THC eyeball, because THC increases one's appetite, hence the munchies. So good to put that in the appetizer so that you have an appetite for the rest of my dishes. And also the gritty eyeball, very difficult one to get in that one, but I've mixed it through because I feel like a grittiness can lend itself to like a hummus mix without too much, without feeling too disturbing in the mouth. As it presents Shaft of Desire, he says, shafts from the eye of the beholder, because as we all know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I don't remember what my accent was. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, so what's more beautiful than the shafts of the beholder? And presented with a nut butter dip. And then to finish it off, I will present it and cast a paladin spell, Revivify, over the eye stalks, meaning that in the same way that some very fancy seafood places will present you with some like tentacles of squid and such, and then put salt on it, and then it sort of naturally mimics the life of the squid and wriggles and things, and for some reason some people like that. Revolts the fuck out of me, but apparently it's a fancy thing to do. So he's casting Revivify on these eye stalks just so they've got a semblance of life before they once again die in your mouth.
All right. Well, as that first plate disappears, you all in the audience get a small sample of this very sensual, very sensory dish. The tastes, the textures, all intertwine with each other, and makes great use of the various palates. As you then move on to your main.
My main dish, I present you Sloppy Joanne, the tenderized masticator meat, dry rubbed with man grind, basted with secret oils and a pulled pork stuffing. I have used the sour citrus eye in this one for the sour orangey taste that can go well with meat sometimes. The metallic coppery eye, I used that flavor to create the gravy, because the metallic can be reminiscent of blood, and the blood to thicken the gravy. So I've got a metallic blood gravy. And presented in the buns, just like a sloppy Joe, but with a what do they call them? Like a cocktail stick through the top of it, holding it together, and pierced onto the cocktail stick the necrotic eye, just like an olive on the top, that is not to be eaten. But as I present it, just on the off chance that somebody does mistake it for edible and eat it, I will cast a paladin spell, Purify Food and Water, which will remove all poisons. Purify food and drink. All non-magical food, blah, 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 becomes rendered free of poison. And so I cast that and present this sloppy Joanne, and then some of it just drips across the plate like a drizzle, and I just sweep it up with my finger and as I present it to the judges.
All right. Again, another sumptuous meal placed in front. As you bite into the sloppy Joanne, those mixtures of flavor erupt. The umami of the gravy mixes in with the well-tempered, almost sour, vinegary-infused pulled meats that have been made from the very tenderized jowls of the beholder.
I will also present them as they are partaking in the main course. I will present them with an accompanying drink that I've called Wet Your Lips, which is using the cool mint eye to garnish it. I've sort of slit open the actual the outer wall of the eye and used it like mint leaves to garnish the drink. And the main body of the drink is from the herbal tea like eye, the one that you said was much less viscous, more watery, and I've used that as a sort of a herbal tea with a mint garnish.
The drink is cool and refreshing. It cuts through the flavors of the strong meaty umami, and extra points because mint is a wonderful accompaniment for that particular type of red meat.
Wonderful. Lucky guess. I know nothing about food. The last dish I come forwards with the dessert, and I say I cream pie. And I present to you essentially a banana split. That the banana is obviously just a banana, but it has the whipped cream from the whipped eyeballs, and it has the soft sherbet over the top of it, sprinkled like sherbet, and the digestive enzyme I, which has very much like the pineapple digestive enzymes, just because the sweetness of the pineapple will go well with the sort of fruit of the banana. And the banana split is presented with the banana lengthwise across the dish. And then you said at the very beginning, in the preparation stage for this stream, you said that we can bring one ingredient from our home, one more exotic ingredient. And so I have brought some orange fruit that will go well with this. I present the banana and 2 kumquats presented with the banana as part of this fruit banana split. I may have looked up before this stream when I realized I was going to be a sexy guy that all of the different foods that sound like sex and tried to put as many of them into my dishes as I could.
Well, you won. Okay. So very well, with this delicious looking dessert dish. It is rich, it is filled with a lovely sweetness that spreads over the tongue and flows and sticks to the lips. With the banana and the kumquat sort of panning it out so it's not too sweet, it adds that little tiny bit of almost like astringency and sour notes to it, elevating it to another level. Though the kumquats are a little difficult to swallow, as they do look like hairy ball bags. They have been presented in such a way that it is almost sensual as a dining experience, and yes, quite well done. But of course, I would like my audience to take in all of the dishes that were presented today for Nigel, and just decide among yourselves if this was truly worthy of the title of Dragon Chef. But of course, Nigel is not the only competitor up for this. We now return to our dear and wonderful Julia, child-sized.
Hello! I have prepared for you this evening a trio of Faerun classics, and I would like to start with a Cheval du Beholder. And before you, she places a plate. It's the brains of the beholder that had been poached during the battle round inside of the beholder, and they're cut in nice oval slices, and they have been sauteed in clarified butter with a bit of floured coating on them that's perfectly crisp and brown, and it has been finished with a parsley caper butter saute that has been drenched over top of it, and the plate is just steaming, and it smells of that rich, lovely butter. When you bite into it, the brain itself is very soft and almost just a slight touch of sweet to it.
All right. As an appetizer, you are presented with a very challenging dish indeed. The brain is not something commonly used, but the way it's been presented comes from the masterful and skillful hands of none other than Julia Childsize. And after that first bite, that is almost like a soft, textured, fluffy, very meaty cloud, you are almost immediately hooked by the very unique experience of this very well-prepared dish.
Her second dish is a Beholder Bourguignon. And before you see the beholder meat that had been tenderized in that bath of buttermilk and then cooked with this lovely broth from the eye stalks and the teeth gifted to her by Nigel. And it's all cooked down in there with, of course, the key ingredient, brandy. Lots and lots and lots of brandy. You will
so
see
much brandy.
so much brandy. Everyone's getting drunk on this episode. It's over a lovely bed of mashed parsley, potatoes, and served with Faerun's finest bread. It smells rich and nice from that high quality brandy that was so kindly gifted to her by the mimic, who not only baby birded it into her mouth, but also into her dish kindly enough.
All right, very well. As this dish reaches you, the alcohol is definitely a strong high note, but it is a clean, crisp, and deliciously sweet taste with none of that strong, chemically alcoholic flavor. Instead, you can kind of almost feel the flavors coming back on you, on your breath after each and every bite. A delightful series of sensations that catapult each other one after the other, allowing you to enjoy the last bite of this dish equally as much as the first.
And for dessert, I present to you a Beholder Meringue Vacherin, or a case of meringue. You see before you the meringue, which she had used the beholder's eye whites to whip into those lovely stiff peaks and fold in a bit of sugar with them. She has piped them perfectly to bake them into almost a bowl, if you will, that's shaped a bit like a castle. And inside of that bowl of meringue is lovely strawberries and cream, and it's just kind of oozing over the edges of this dessert.
The dessert itself is incredibly well done. The smell captivates you, the textures and the flavors are just overflowing. And as an end to the rather interesting series of previous dishes, the smooth, very strong, meaty flavors from the original brain from the appetizer, tied together with that alcoholic sort of sweetness, this was almost like the perfect end to it. as it clears your palate and fills it with nothing but that sweet, sweet sensation that is iconic for Julia Child-sized recipes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have, of course, come to the judging. As we
as we're as we're setting up for the judging stage, I would like to use my hero point, my last hero point, to cast bless at as high a level as I can, and just bless myself, Julia, all of the judges, whoever I can get into it, Jeff, Crispy Jeff, Eugene,
Not Crispy Jeff.
Mel,
Dave.
just bless everyone, and I start, Dave, and I start to say, before you give judgment, I would just like to say that I had a wonderful time here today. Cooking brings out such unique experiences that cannot be had in any other room of the house, bar one perhaps. And then it brings with it such sensations and flavors, and wonderful kinship brings us together as one, that I don't care if I win or lose. If Julia has beaten me, then so be it. I have lost to a worthy opponent. But the way I see it is, we are all blessed on this day, and I will bless us all.
All right. Very kind words. Julia, would you like to say something in response?
I just feel so moved today by this paladin, this Adonis, that I feel as though cooking with Nigel has helped me to find God suddenly.
Well, at this point in time, you see behind you there is this this small character in like the black robes and stuff who is in the kitchen with you with the tiny mustache, just sort of like shakes his hands, like throws like his kitchen utensils on the ground and just leaves. All right. Well, while we are accruing for 3 minutes, those who wish to vote on the winner of the popularity vote. The poll is up for the people to vote. Let us break down the last of our points. Now, in regards to the plating of the meal, both of you did exceptionally well on multiple dishes, but only one of you did exceptionally well on all of your dishes. To this end, Nigel, you have been awarded, out of 3 points, a score of 3. Julia, you have been awarded 2 points. The next category is on deliciousness. Sight, smell, sound, taste, all of these are important when it comes to creating the perfect description of food. And for this, Julia, you have been awarded full points for making your dishes sound, smell, and feel the most delectable. And Nigel, with the added swagger of your sexual ferocity, you have been awarded 3 points. Though I fear as though the judges on that one haven't quite decided whether or not it was you or the dishes they were judging. Next is creativity. Those of you who utilized your skills and prowess to not only create unique and interesting dishes, but challenging dishes as well. Also points towards those who are able to overcome and diversify their menu in the face of adversity. For this, Nigel, out of 3, you have been scored 3. And Julia, you also have received a score of 3. Which now brings our totals to 16 for Nigel and 17 for Julia. With the judges having cast their last vote, the last vote for popularity by the judges goes to Nigel for 1 point, which ties up this fight, and we find ourselves befitting 2 victors of this culinary kitchen contest. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I would like to say that these 2 incredible chefs brought everything they had to the table and more. They gave us a feast, not only for our senses, but also for our taste buds as well. The best outcome, of course, sometimes is bittersweet. Because, speaking with the judges, there is one final point that was given to one of our contestants. A draw would be a sweet ending. But there is one person who has cast a vote. One person whose voice wished to be heard more than any. And we, as the producers here, thought, why not? You watch as a small box is brought before you. As it is, the doors of this box open, and you watch as this white mist pours from the box, and inside you see it's Dave. Yeah, so how's it going? I'm here because you managed to save me. And look, I know it may seem biased, but it ain't. There's something that comes about, from being a true hero in the kitchen. And you saved my life. You saved my life, Nigel. More than that, by purifying the poison, you also stopped from poisoning the entire audience. I'm gonna say that's pretty clever.
It felt like a necessary thing to do at the last moment.
It was. So, we decided that for your bravery in the kitchen, that we'd pull together and we'd give you a point for just being a super trooper.
Oh, you're too kind, Dave. You're too kind. Come here, and I bring him in for like an icy hug, and then I hold him real close, and so I'm holding him so that like my mic on my apron is muffled, and I say, "I know what you did. I know that you tried to sabotage me. I know that you gave her the ice, and it's a good thing that you gave me this extra point, because ice shatters." And then I pull back and say, "It's."
As you say that, okay. As you say that, you start to pull back, and that is when you realize something. The ice method has no face anymore. And you watch as this mimic nom, 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 nom. Crunch. And you are now holding you're holding a dead judge with the deciding vote.
It's such a good sport. I just pull him back into a hug. Dave is such a good guy. And I just start to like pull him around. Good on you, Dave. And then I throw him back in the freezer. Good on you.
Julia's just oblivious and clapping. This is such a wholesome moment. Truly wholesome.
Throw him back in
I
throw him back in the freezer, and then with my last 3rd level spell, I cast Create Food and Water, and create water just like over his face, so that it hopefully freezes back up again.
And
freezer shut.
Yeah, you sort of slam the freezer shut as you do. His arm is still kind of hanging out as you bang, bang, just sort of cram it in there.
Throw that back in there. Clunk.
All right. Well, you watch as the producers kind of shrug their shoulders, and then you watch as they send out someone to go and collect the little like frozen box. You can see that it's a dwarven like man with like no beard, no hair. He's kind of like on crutches as he makes his way forward. He kind of takes the little fridge and heads back. But in that moment, yes, indeed, the winner of today's culinary conquest, and all-round good guy, the best guy, somebody whose heroism is simply beyond reproach.
As I hear them say heroism, I cast heroism a 2nd level on myself. I'm out of 4th, 3rd, and 1st level spells, so I'm casting it at 2nd level. I've got 1 more spell slot.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to present to you the one, the only Nigel Chaosan, winner and dragon chef of today.
I walk over to shake Julia's hand. And if she takes my hand, I take it.
She does.
Gently kiss the back of her hand, and then pull her up by the hand into a one-hand hug. She's a halfling and make a Goliath.
Yeah.
Pull her up into a one-hand hug, and I squeeze her tight and say, "You did fantastic. It was an honor to meet you."
I'm just squealing, and my little legs are kicking in the air.
All right, as you do this, all of a sudden, there's this twitching coming from the neck of our dear. But
keep her away from the fucking thing.
But as that happens, all of a sudden, you hear something coming from underneath your neck.
Oh gosh.
It sounds like almost like it's making out as you look down and you see both the mimic that is attached to Julia's hand and the mimic that is the bow tie have found love. And at the sight of this, the producers come out and go, no, this is not that kind of pay-per-view, okay? We're gonna cut. Go to commercial. As the stream cuts and vanishes.
The bow tie mimic gets a hand job.
All right. As that happens, we cut out. And guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
My name is Michael. I'm the Dead Aussie Gamer. With me, of course, allow me to present my wonderful performers, none other than the one, the only Darling Creepshow and Robert Hartley, GM. Thank you guys for being on my show and doing the thing.
This was incredible.
This was great.
I'm so glad that that your other guest couldn't make it last minute. That you thought of me.
Yes,
because this
super
was
fun.
This was hella fun.
Yay!
Thank you
I'm
very
glad.
much, Michael. This was a lot of fun. It's so fun to sometimes just be completely spur of the moment thrust into being like, make a character. Not only a character, it's a level 14 character. I was like, all right, let's go, baby.
Yeah, I don't do things in mid. Just like, yeah, no, we're going all the way into this one.
That's fantastic.
No, this is great. And Darling Creepshow, this has been amazing. This is the first time we've actually worked together on something. And like I've said, we've known each other for years. I mean, like when I say like it's nuts. And we just sometimes it's just and I mean actually Rob could probably attest to this as well. I don't actually have guests on my channel too often. Not because I don't want them, because I kind of very rarely do like big production-y type stuff. But when I do, I have a big list of people who I'm like, these are the people I absolutely want. And I swear you have been on that list for like the longest time. And Rob is just somebody who is always on that list, regardless of what I'm doing. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. And it's just
shucks.
Yeah, I mean, look, even when we were at Gen Con, we were doing something, and Brandon from Cantrip Cast was like, I feel like garbage. Can I bow out? Can you kill me off? And I'm like, yeah. Hey, Rob, you want to play? And he's like, yeah.
I was just in the audience. I was just in the audience. He's like, hey, Rob, get up. You're playing now.
Yeah,
Brandon has to leave.
Oh,
that's great.
No, this was so wonderful, and again, thank you for coming on my channel. Thank you for being a part of this. I do like to round out a little bit with just if anyone has any questions or anything, or if anyone wants to just give me some feedback on the Dragon Kitchen concept and stuff like that.
I genuinely think it's such a unique thing. It's so hard as a content creator. It's so hard to come up with new things that are like everybody's got an actual play. Everybody does tips and tricks. Everybody does mini painting or whatever, and it's like, how do you find a niche? How do you find something that's like yours? And this feels so much like your thing, like just like such a unique take on like the combat mechanics and like use a way to utilize the things that are designed for beating something to death in like a high stakes, like you're gonna die if you don't kind of way, and then to turn that on its head and be like, no, you're just preparing meat, you're preparing ingredients, and it's such a unique and clever thing to do, and I really enjoy Dragon Kitchen whenever I get to watch it or be part of it.
I had so much fun with this. Like, hats off to you for the amount of production that goes in from content creator to content creator. Like, that's a lot. That's so much. And for you to have to do a lot of that on the fly today too makes it even that much more impressive. And yeah, I'm so excited to actually come and get to play over here and have you as an awesome DM for whatever the fuck just happened. It was absolutely amazing. I had so much fun. And to bring one of my personal icons to life, super cool. I love it.
Oh man, I absolutely love that too. Like, I mean, Julia Child is like, the thing is it's really funny because obviously for those who know me, like, I am very much into cooking. I love cooking. I love celebrity chefs. I love the whole thing. Nigella Lawson and Julia Child as a thing. Every time I get a guest on and I get to hear like what people have done, like somebody had like Robbie Mindflay as like one of the characters that came in, or just any of these kind of things immediately triggers my like, this is gonna be great. This person has read the assignment and we're gonna have a great time. Because that's just what it's all about, having a good time, hanging out with cool people. And I gotta say just how creative and how much work went into both of you throughout today. I absolutely loved the fact that your beholder didn't do shit, and it wasn't just like because my dice weren't behaving. I was sitting there going, this is a beholder. I came up with different rays that were just gonna mess around, because I mean, I didn't always want to kill you guys with like disintegrate and stuff. I was like, what can I do to mix this up? And I'm like, cool, let's make the petrification ray like kind of a slow Mobius kind of ray, so it's like and then mixing together, like, it's like, well, the butter ray, that'd be cool, because then there's another ray that'll set them on fire, and then it'll start cooking them, and then there's a sandwich ray, which turns them into a sandwich, like that was my stone to flesh one. It's like, you can't put it in a sandwich, yeah, so there was a lot of like little ones that I'd done to like just mess around with a few things, but the fact that
and
you
instead
then
it was like, no, I'm drunk and I'm laughing and I'm horny and I'm angry and that's all I get to do.
Yeah, and then you drowned it. You put it, you hold person, glub.
glub.
Just, well...
In boiling brandy.
I was marinating him.
That's true. It was very well marinated.
The drowning was an accident or a bonus.
I really loved the minor alchemy to turn what he's bathing in. Like,
yes.
That was so cool. That was
brandy. Very clever.
That was very clever. I loved that. And Rob, same thing. I absolutely love, because I mean, look, Rob for me is always one of those people who is like what I like to call like a science player. He is somebody who, if ever I need to like explore the actual physics of something in like random made up fantasy, right? Rob is like my number one go-to because he comes up with just some of the stuff that he says that's just like I can't argue that logic. It makes perfect sense. And like everything you did with this sexy character, from like coating it in butter and then burning it and setting it aflame, to like how you kind of dealt with the different flavor profiles to make the dessert and the drink, like stuff like that. It's like, hey, cooking is science. Cooking is
it's funny you said that, because like somebody in the chat was like, Rob, I don't know anything about cooking. Also, Rob describes all of this blah blah blah, and then I think it was Winter's Tales was like, yeah, because he's treating it like a science. If he thinks of it like a science, he can do it. It's not, if it's like cooking, it's not. Don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like seriously,
if it's a science, I'm good. I've got a science mind.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to see you one day, like, if we actually do have you on again, I'd love to see how you take Heston Blumenthal as a inspirational character as well. That'd be a lot of fun.
All right, challenge accepted.
And Darling Creepshow, I definitely want to play more with you. As much fun as Dragon Kitchen is, I also have a strong desire to play an adventurous game with you at some point or another, because
that would be a lot of fun.
Because here's the thing, not many people know this, and I don't know if you can get this just because of my name, being the Dead Aussie Gamer, but I actually do have like somewhat of like a very strong love of like grimdark horror and a lot of the stuff that I know is Creepshow's vibe, and I've wanted to do stuff with you for like forever. So I'm glad that we got to do something where you got to dress up as Julie, a child.
That's so fucking wholesome. I don't know what to do with this. I messaged a couple of my friends and I was like, I am like the most wholesome I think I've ever been in my entire life right now, and it's horrifying.
I was not expecting it. I died. If it wasn't for the fact that I was stressing out about like layouts and music and Rob's character and stuff like that in the background, I died when I saw you. I was just like, who are you?
Who's this bitch?
What the fuck are you?
That's
Holy
a creep show.
But you know what? You both were absolutely amazing, and we are going to wrap up here. But before we do, guys, tell the folks at home what it is you do, where they can find you, and hey, if you've got any big upcoming projects that you want to shout out, by all means. Let's start with you, Rob. Rob.
Hello there. I'm Robert Hartley, GM. I'm a full-time content creator for Dungeons & Dragons. I make things for a living. You can find me all over the internet at Robert Hartley, GM. I'm most well known for being the dungeon master for a comedy group called Viva La Dirt League. There's a half-hour actual play every week focused on comedy and green screen cutaways of the things that happen at the table. So it's very bingeable. Go and check it out. Viva La Dirt League D&D. Otherwise, you can check out my own stuff. I've got an interview series where I talk to people from the community called Short Rest. Just this morning I was chatting with Cucumber, the felted friend from Perception Studio. So I chat with people on that all the time, people that I care about anyway. Hey, Dag. You've been on that, haven't you?
I have. I was on the Careful Cantrip. I was on the Careful Cantrip one, okay?
You did manage to get onto that. It's been a running joke that he's not been on my Short Rest in a long time, but he managed to come on as a guest in the Careful Cantrip when I was interviewing them.
I snuck on. I wasn't invited. I was legitimately not invited until like Dave and Raina, who are in the CEOs of Careful Cantrip, turned around and were like, "Oh yeah, we've got a show with Rob," and they're like, "Oh yeah, what about?" Yeah, we invited the cast as well to like do a short rest with Rob, and I'm like, "Were you gonna ask me?" It's like, "Oh,"
and you're like,
"Haha." We just thought you were busy, and I'm like, "Rude," and so I just invited myself, and I was like, "Don't tell Rob, I'm just gonna show up," and I did.
Yeah. So yeah, you can find me doing all that stuff. Robert Hartley GM for everything, roberthartleygm.com for all the links, or just find me on your favorite platform at Robert Hartley GM.
Wonderful. And of course, the incredible Darling Creepshow.
Hi, I'm Darling Creepshow. I'm just your resident creep on Twitch. I play TTRPGs like D&D, but I primarily paint D&D miniatures over on my channel. Right now we're working through a big Vecna bus commission, which has been super fun to work on. Nice. Tomorrow night is Sunday. Sunday is our TTRPG days, and right now we are playing through Dragonfire and Cormier, which is all homebrew by our resident DM Duro. We start around 9 p.m. Eastern, so if you want to come check that out, you can. We kind of interchange that out. We're also doing like a Cyberpunk 2020 game right now too, so if you like old crunchy games as well, I got that too.
Nice.
Freaking brilliant. And guys, My name is Michael. I'm the Dead Aussie Gamer. This is my place. This is my face. And you can find it here so many times during the week. Honestly, like, I don't sleep. But I normally run Pathfinder. I do run other games on occasion, such as this, where I run Dungeons & Dragons, as well as The Walking Dead, which is usually at this time slot. But that's Dag versus The Walking Dead, so the only player I disappoint is me. So I change it up to do other things as well. But guys, I'm a very interactive chatter. I'm very interactive with all my games. I love playing around with my audience, so that's what you'll find me doing. You can also find me as a regular cast member over on Careful Cantrip, where well, actually, we were just between campaigns. We just ended a campaign. So right now, I'm actually running Through the Breach as a 3-part mini-series. So if you're into Wild Wests, cards, monsters, and a bit of kooky darkness, hey, give Careful Cantrip a follow as well, and come check us out there. We are going to go and raid our friends over at Casters and Cantrips, a small live play group that is currently enjoying their session. These guys are a lot of fun. They're a very casual group, and we love that. We want to elevate each other because a rising tide raises all ships, unless your ship has holes in it, like mine does tend to. But, you know, nonetheless, guys, this is a message from me to you. Wherever you happen to be, whatever you happen to be doing with yourself, make sure that you take time to appreciate the most important person in life, and that is yourself. Sometimes it's easy for us to care about others and to lift other people up, but sometimes we need that lift as well. So please, be kind to yourself, because why the fuck not? It's free. Stay safe, stay wonderful, and until we meet again, as always, from me to you, game hard or die trying. Good night, folks!